Madam Vice Chair.
We look forward to this presentation from you and Kelly Cheney. So thanks to you both for everything.
No, it's our honor.
Thank
So,
you.
Madam Vice Chair, Chancellors, members of the board, I hope you rested well. We certainly enjoyed our very full day with you yesterday, but we appreciate your indulgence as we took you through lots of tours and exciting discussions. And just briefly this morning, I'd like to highlight some things at Roane State, and then our dear friends and partners at TCAT Knoxville will follow. I'm going to do this a little bit differently, if it's okay, because you've heard quite enough from me, I think. I am going to start off by just giving a brief overview, hitting a couple more highlights about this magnificent facility that we're so grateful to be able to utilize, again, with TCAT Knoxville. But then I'm going to turn it over because there's some other areas that I would like the leaders of those areas to share those areas with you. So right after me, Vice President Teresa Duncan and lead nuclear strategist for TBR will be talking to you about the nuclear renaissance, something we certainly talked about yesterday, last night, talk about our Big Six programs a little bit. She'll be followed by Dr. Diane Ward, who's Vice President of Student Learning at Roane State, who's going to share with you about something that's not new to Roane State, but something that continues to grow and show incredible progress and expresses, where you have interest expressed about it from many of our K-12 systems, and that's our middle college program. And then Karen Bruner will then stand and share with you about a relatively new initiative. We're really excited about some work that we're doing with Morgan County as a part of the Achieving the Dream Community Vibrancy Program. You know, for years, I've been in the system now a long time, I can remember when most of what we talked about was exclusively enrollment. And we still talk a lot about enrollment, but now we also importantly talk about student success and completion. And now we talk about, importantly, workforce preparedness. And so this is sort of the next question. So what would come after that? And we think one of the initiatives has to be to lift up the communities that we live in, certainly surrounding the work we do in workforce, but not limited to it. So if that sounds okay, we'll do our part, and then I'll invite President Cheney up. So again, let me get the clicker here. As we get started today, again, thank you for joining us for the ribbon cutting for the Knox Regional Health Science Education Center. For those of you who may not have had an opportunity to take part in the tours yesterday, and if you would like to after the meeting's over with, you don't have to get right back on the road. We have folks who stand ready to show you through the building and show you those parts of the building if you did not get to see them. But why Roane State? Why health science for Roane State? Well, back in the 1970s when Roane State first started offering health science programs, and of course continue to today, as I mentioned last night, for many years, that's one of the main things, if not the main thing, that Roane State has been known for, is specialization in these now some 20-odd certificate and degree health science programs. In fact, we estimate that about 1 out of every 3 technical level healthcare worker in the greater East Tennessee region has come through the doors of Roane State, either to get their degree or certificate and or to come through on the back end and maintain their licensure and certification through the continuing healthcare education program that Kirk Harris runs so admirably. So this is not new to us. We've just not had nearly enough room to expand the size of our existing programs. I don't have to tell any of you about the nursing shortages in Tennessee, but also in other areas as well. So we've not been able to increase the size of our existing programs, and because of the limited space, we have not been able to increase to any new programs. So now that's going to change starting in January when our students first occupy this building, first importantly in our nursing program, and then we'll bring other programs along also in the spring. We're going to be able to more than double the size of the output. So we feel like we're graduating great folks already, just not enough of them. So now we're going to be able to more than double the output to all of the partners that we have in healthcare in this region. I would challenge you to go to any hospital, any doctor's office in the greater East Tennessee region and not find a Roane State alum. I don't think that can be done. Presidents say a lot of things, but I think that one's actually probably true. So thank you, David, for that laugh. I appreciate you. So So why this building though? So it's not only to increase the output and the size, but also to think about health science workforce education as a one-stop shop. So we don't want our partners in workforce to have to wonder, where am I going to get my graduates? We want them to come to a single location and know that between our partnership with TCAT Knox at Roane State and TCAT Knox, we can supply the healthcare workforce needs that you have right here, right in this space. So a one-stop place for our folks. We can expand the number of graduates. We can expand the number of programs. So those were the current programs. Here are the new programs that we'll be bringing online that have been needed for quite a bit of time. We just haven't had any place to put them. Now we will. But it's not only the numbers, but it's also importantly the quality, because as strong as we feel like our graduates have been and how well prepared we know they have been, the simulation center, the simulation hospital that many of you toured yesterday, will give them an opportunity for an immersive experience that will really be a game changer. Simulation is not new to anyone in this room, but the immersive way in which we're going to do that, the interdisciplinary way that we're going to do that, the opportunity for us to provide access to students who will go on to clinicals, but there's no guarantee in a clinical setting that you will necessarily see a cardiac event. There's no guarantee you'll see a birth. But in simulation, we will guarantee every single person that comes through will at least see that in simulation before they get out into their clinicals. So that's the reason we've spent so much effort, so much time preparing for, leading the charge up to the building of this building, because we think it really is going to be a game changer for health science, for education, not only in Knoxville, but certainly for the greater East Tennessee region. So thank you for letting me talk just a couple of moments about that. Now I'd like to transition and ask Teresa Duncan to come up and talk a little bit more about the nuclear renaissance and about the Big Six programs at Roane State that we're working on to help provide that workforce. Regent Gentile, I do have my nuclear energy bow tie on. I wore that especially for you. I obtained it at an event honoring Regent Barry Stevenson not too many months ago. So, Teresa Duncan.
Thank you very much. The slide that you see is, who's turning the slides?
You are.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I didn't know if that was. You got it? All right, thank you. There's one back. There we go. That slide right there. It gives you an entire scope look at the nuclear industry and TBR and all of its institutions when you lay over what's going to be done in that industry that you see ahead of you. That, by the way, was done by ETech and ORNL, the National Lab. And of those 230 companies, many of them were involved in developing that roadmap for what's needed for nuclear. So when you look and lay over what TBR is already doing, it's very exciting for me to say that we're doing a whole lot already across the state. I'm with Roane State, but as I start to look at this from across the state, I see Northeast State, Chattanooga State, I see TCAT's already doing a lot of good work in this area. So I'm very excited about that. Yesterday, Governor Lee was in Knoxville, and he started out with companies asked for two things. They asked, do you have power, and do you have talent? And that was in a news article this morning, and what he said proudly was we have both. I think that Roane State and TBR are 100,000 or so enrollments for the fall. We're part of that ecosystem, a significant critical part of supplying that talent for that ecosystem for nuclear. Our Big Six, most of the colleges, all the colleges listen to industry. They listen and they respond. Can you turn that? Thank you. And Roane State has responded over the years. I've been at Roane State yesterday, 30 years. I couldn't believe that. I've seen every time an industry says we have a need, we will respond, as do all the institutions in this system. You can see there, those are our technical programs that Dr. Whaley mentioned last night, nuclear and project management being the newest. Pellissippi State has project management as well, partnering with UCOR. You see chemical engineering technology. We would not have that program if it wasn't for Northeast State and Chattanooga State, who years ago helped us get that curriculum and get us started. So we have developed these programs and in response to the need. But collectively, from a TBR perspective, we have the assets, we have the talented people, we have the students, and we will leverage all of those together to fill the need. Yesterday, BWXT announced their $1.5 billion investment in Upper East Tennessee and Northeast State and TCAT Elizabethton, Walters, Morristown, TCAT Morristown, they're all primed and ready. And so when we leverage our assets and work together, we can make the need meet that need. So those are our programs. I wanted to point out one thing I just learned, environmental health technology. We've had that program for probably 30 years. But newly, we are the only school now and only one of 4 organizations in the country that had our class, one of our rad tech classes, an approved reciprocity with Department of Energy. So anyone, a TCAT student or anyone from across the country can take that class. And if you have that required certification in your job in the nuclear world, you have it right away. They give you the credit for it. So that's fantastic. Most people have to travel all over the country to get that from DOE. So good news about nuclear. I think that, it's here. You heard a whole lot about that yesterday and last night. So there's no need to tell you that. It's going to grow. It's going to grow quickly. The Chancellor, Dr. McCormick, Dr. Sisk were wise enough to pull all the schools together coming October 28th back to Oak Ridge and to learn really more, dig down, into the weeds about what we can do to leverage each other and help each other grow whatever it is they need. So I'm proud to say those programs are already in place and we'll share them. So thank you. Any questions? Thank you.
I don't have any questions. I just want to thank Teresa for taking on these extra duties, not only working with Roane State, but now with the entire state coordinating our nuclear. So thank you so much, Teresa, for all that you're doing.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. I have the privilege this morning of sharing a little bit about one of Roane State's program that we call Middle College. So our Middle College program is a unique opportunity for rising high school juniors to simultaneously complete a high school diploma and an associate's degree at the same time. Based on a model from Chattanooga State, we customized our program to meet the needs of the students in our service area. So a little bit different than the Chattanooga model, but the students in our area will attend college in the morning and then they go back to their high school in the afternoon so that they can participate in high school classes in the afternoon as well as sports, band, clubs like Beta Club, high school things. They're able to go back and stay with their high schools in the afternoon. Since the establishment of our middle college program some 10 years ago, our program has supported nearly 1,000 students. We're especially grateful to the state legislature and Senator Ken Yeager for the creation of the Middle College Scholarship. This $2,000 per semester scholarship has made the program financially accessible for many families and helps students get a head start on careers that require years of college preparation. And that scholarship helps not only the students at Roane State, but middle college programs across the TBR system. Today, we're proud to partner with 16 school systems, including all 3 public, private, and homeschool institutions with a current enrollment in our middle college program of 237 students. As our workforce needs evolve, so do our programs at Roane State. We've recently expanded this middle college program to include a nuclear technology focus to prepare students to graduate high school ready for a technician role in the nuclear field. The success stories from our middle college program and these graduates speak volumes. From the youngest licensed pharmacist in Tennessee as a product of this program, to the engineers in place in our Oak Ridge vicinity, to SpaceX employees, merchant marines, leaders in advertising and marketing, our alumni are making a difference and a mark across the country. Middle college isn't the right fit for everyone, and it's not right for every student. But for those who are academically ready, it offers both a challenge and a launch pad toward a meaningful, successful career. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. As most of you are undoubtedly aware, Achieving the Dream is the national network of over 300 community and technical colleges that are committed to transformative change as a catalyst for student success. What you may not know is that Roane State and Jackson State were the first Tennessee colleges to join the network. So for Roane State, that has meant 10 years of being challenged to use data and courageous choices to expand access, facilitate early momentum, and intentionally put students on a pathway to completion. But just as ATD challenges its institutions, it has also challenged itself to develop strategies that really will create that transformational change. They've asked questions like, is completion the end of a community college's responsibility to its students? Or is it imperative to consider that continuing pathway a student travels to immediate employment or further education for a well-paying career that will enhance that student's life, the life of his or her family, and ultimately the vibrancy of the community? With those questions in mind, Achieving the Dream developed the Community Vibrancy Project, and Roane State was privileged to be asked to join the first Community Vibrancy cohort. We spent that first year studying the internal and external data associated with those metrics which, taken collectively, would contribute to community vibrancy. We learned that it wasn't the community college's job to take full responsibility, and it was certainly not our responsibility to tell a community what to do, but rather to facilitate partnerships, to discover how education and training, community health and wellness, and economic development could really enhance community vibrancy. But then it was time to implement the project. So with 9 campuses in 2 time zones, how to begin was really overwhelming. But knowing how unique each of our service area counties is, we decided to start with one county. But which one? Of course, my president stole my thunder, but on this slide is actually a hint. If you visited our Morgan County campus recently, you would note that that photo there is from the painting of a mural that we just had painted at the campus, reflecting the beautiful natural beauty of that area. So our choice was based on the county's unlimited potential, its natural resources, strong community partnerships that we had already developed, but it was also based on the study of Morgan County data. Not only does this county have a high percentage of residents living below the poverty rate, but also a high rate of households earning above the poverty level, but not enough to sustain and pay for basic household necessities. And the data point that was the deciding factor for our choice of Morgan County was that it had the highest rate among our service area counties of youth ages 16 to 24 who are not in school and not working. So, our first activity was to, next slide please, invite a group of community leaders to come together to explore these data, to engage in conversations about their desires for their home community, and determine ways that Roane State might be able to help the county move forward. We had such great participation in that first meeting that we were able to break out into groups to probe questions related to education and training, economic development, and community health and wellness. A second convening brought focus on 2 particular areas. Number 1, the need to more deeply understand the goals of the county's youth, their perceptions about education and its connection to work. And number 2, the potential of tourism to uplift the community. So on that second focus area, meetings will continue with the Morgan County Tourism Alliance for possible grant opportunities. But we really needed more help to tackle that first focus area. And that's where partnerships central to the project kicked in. At our first meeting, Professor Janine Alazier, who's director of UT Knoxville's University Assisted Community School, she was in town to meet with Patricia Pace, who was assistant director of Morgan County Schools, for their ongoing work with the Sunbright School. Dr. Alazier suggested that there might be a way to assist the county with further research on community perceptions, a multidisciplinary action research course through UT's Appalachian Justice Research Center. So the idea was endorsed by everyone at that first meeting. We put forward a proposal to the center that was accepted, and focus group research questions were co-created by Dr. Alazier, Patricia Pace, Melody Keys, who is Roane State's Morgan County site director, and myself. Next slide, please. We had an opportunity a couple of weeks ago to meet these wonderful students enrolled in this course. One of them is from Roane County, one of them is actually a graduate of our middle college, and most of them come from a rural community background that really made them eager to do this work. So currently they are meeting with Morgan County students, parents, educators, and community leaders, and will present their research findings to the community at the end of the fall semester. Their report will be the catalyst for our continuing work that Morgan County leaders can do with Roane State and its community partners. So, what's next? Do we choose another county, or maybe we focus on a specific population demographic? Some of the colleges in the cohort are doing that. Well, we will use the 2035 strategic planning process to help us determine the best way to continue the work. What is certain is that community vibrancy will guide Roane State's student success agenda as we embark on the next 10 years and our journey with achieving the dream. Thank you.
That was fascinating. Thank you very much. Look forward to hearing more.
Good morning.
Hello, Dr. Cheney,
How
who
are
just
you?
said to me, I know you're not going to tell me differently, but I really hope you've had a good time. I said, of course we've had a good time.
Well,
So
I
I just want to say for the record, we've had a good time. Thank you.
Speak frankly.
I know.
It just is what it is. But thank you all. Thank you for having us here today. And thank you for being in Knoxville. We are very excited that you're here. We're excited to talk about all the good things happening at TCAT Knoxville and with our partner institutions. But it is my distinct pleasure to present to you this morning, and I am so thankful for the opportunity. And y'all probably see me take my glasses on and off because sometimes I can't read the fine print, but a lot of times I will just zip right through. And the first thing I want to talk about, if you'll just bear with me a minute, is the importance of what we're doing at TCAT Knoxville and how we manage our growth and what makes that happen. I'll zip through some slides really quick, but I really want to get to the bulk of what's in the middle so that I can talk about our people. And at TCAT Knoxville, one of the things that is super important to us is obviously these construction projects. And when I hear you talk about Dick Tracy and how he must be losing his mind, I know that I'm losing my mind with 3, so I could only imagine. But these projects are so important to our growth and how we manage our growth and how we train our students and work in our community, that the craziness on campus right now is all worth it. It's all worth it, and we're so thankful. So we talk about the Liberty Street campus, and this is our main campus on Liberty, and what you need to know there, that is a great rendition of what our new building is going to look like. Our construction is in multiple phases affecting multiple buildings, but this will be our new main campus, decked out completely with an automotive lab that I know my Vice President Smith back there is super excited about, coming from the automotive industry. A completely decked out diesel lab, a computer science lab. There's a workforce development center in there. There's a brand new cosmetology center in there, and there's lots of things to talk about. And in the construction, we'll be expanding our plumbing and pipe fitting program across the street because of this magnificent project. So I'm super excited about that. Oops. And as you know, we have, I said, 3 projects underway. Union County, I'm really excited to talk about this project. And when I say there's a lot going on at TCAT Knoxville, the Union County campus actually opens to students the same day as this campus opens to students. So we're moving into 2 campuses over the same time period, but in Union County, this building is an amazing opportunity. It sits on the property of Union County High School, so those high school students can really just walk across the walkway, so to speak, and go right into the campus where we have a magnificent welding lab coming. We have a flex lab so that we can be responsive to the industries that are there. We're doing a lot of cool things with Union County High School related to the medical field that is going to be actually inside their building. But the idea and the opportunities there is to address the needs in our rural counties and just be there when our community needs us. And that's where TCAT Knoxville really excels. on a couple of other things that you probably have heard a little bit about, but I'm not going to waste a lot of time on this. But I want to mention at the Union County campus, because I do welcome the new president at Walter State, and I look forward to working with him. They also have space in that building. There's a classroom that's perfectly suited for them, and we're eager to share. But TCAT Knoxville has roughly 7 campuses located throughout our region, and we're proud partners with our community colleges. We have instructional service centers at high schools. It's helped us manage our growth during all of this construction and allowed us a place to go to continue the good work that our faculty and staff are doing. Now, all that being said, this is the really bulk that I want to talk about today. Investing in our people. We could not manage our exponential growth without a talented pipeline, and we've had to grow our leadership within. We do this through an individual development plan process. This is something that I learned. I was fortunate to go to the THEC Fellows program when I first moved to Tennessee. Thank you, Chancellor Tidings, for sticking me in that, because it proved to be a game changer for my school. And my faculty and friends and colleagues sitting back here behind me from TCAT Knoxville, they will tell you it is a fundamental product of what we do to grow our institution. And just to explain that a little bit, I'd like to dive in and just tell you about a few of our employees that just are incredible work because of this individual development plan process. I'm going to dive into Lynn Rimmer. His name is Jerry, but we call him Lynn. Lynn came to us 20 years experience in the construction industry. He was our pipe fitting instructor for 8 to 10 years before I got there. The good thing is, when we started all this construction, yours truly does not know enough about construction. I know enough to be dangerous. So I went to our faculty, who are experts in the field in so many ways. I went to Lynn Rimmer and I said, Lynn, what do you think about heading up the projects of our new construction? Lynn calls me Miss Kelly. He's a gentleman. He says, well, Miss Kelly, I'm an old construction hand. I don't know about that. I said, come on, Lynn. You're the best in the business. Come on. I said, what's on your IDP? And he said, well, ma'am, you talked me into going back to school. And I said, thank you, Lynn. Lynn Rimmer is completing his degree. He's earned 12 additional industry certifications related to facilities construction over the last 2 years. He is our right and left hand in dealing with contractors and our project managers, and just one of those gentlemen that from the construction industry, he knows everybody and has solved problems for us. But that's all because Lynn put on his IDP. Somehow, I'd like to be in administration. I just don't know how to get there. So we made a plan for Lynn to get there. So that is Lynn Rimmer. And then I'm going to dive into one that just truly tugs at my heartstrings, and that is our facilities support. His name is David. You may have seen David around here yesterday for a little while, but David actually came to us from the homeless shelter. He enrolled in our adult education program at the homeless shelter in Knoxville. He then he got his high school diploma while at TCAT through our adult education program, enrolled at TCAT, became a work study at TCAT, became an employee at TCAT. And he is still working on his credential at TCAT. He's put on his individual development plan that he handed to me in writing. He says, Miss Kelly, I'm not real good at computers yet, but I thought I'd write it out for you. And I said, if you're willing to write it out for me, I'm willing to read every sentence if it takes me all day. Let's talk about it. David has dreams of working in facilities at TCAT Knoxville and finishing his career there. Ladies and gentlemen, David bikes to work every day because he doesn't have a car. We're going to figure out a way to solve that problem. But I'm so proud of that man. Another, speaking of adult education and their impact on our school, Amanda Keller. She's our Assistant Director of Adult Education. She just earned a doctorate degree. It was on her IDP that she wanted to advance her degree. She finished her doctorate last year. I am so proud of her. But it's those things and letting our people know that we care about their future and how it aligns with TCAT Knoxville, that we grow our own leadership. And I want to talk about one more person that you probably saw around here yesterday. Really tall guy when compared to me, definitely, but he's a really tall guy. And he's new to us, been with us about 13, 14 months. But he is our Director of Allied Health Programs. So Jake Terry, as of last week, he is Dr. Jake Terry. And we are so excited to have this leadership leading the way in key departments. But our vice president sitting behind me and our IT person sitting behind me, they have all advanced their credentials to be in leadership. They laid the groundwork. Just like these buildings that we're building, we had to build our infrastructure and we had to build the buildings to accommodate the needs at TCAT Knoxville. And that's where we are today. We're investing in our people. We're trying to do it the right way. We're trying to do it with passion and energy and the desire to be better. We want our community to lean on us. When there's a problem, we want TCAT to be the answer. So I'm going to stop talking about the IDP and how important it is to my school, but I'm going to breeze through some other things because I have our dental assisting instructor here today who is also a TCAT grad who advanced her degree, and I have a dental student that I would love for you to hear from. Okay? We talk about workforce development. It's critical to our mission. It's critical to everything we do. We're super excited at the growth in our workforce development team and our grants team. We have some amazing partners. In diving into the nuclear energy, I will be the first to tell you, I have to study those words. I'm not going to kid you. I have to study what those big words mean. And sometimes I have to chat GPT it. And that's just fair. That's just how it is. But we have a fantastic relationship with the Tennessee Road Builders Association. Now, I bet you didn't think that the Road Builders Association would have anything to do with nuclear. But you heard my colleagues talk yesterday about how TCATs really are the foundation of nuclear. We have to have construction. We have to have truck drivers. We have to have people to build those reactors. We have to have those things. So what you're seeing on the screen now is our registered apprenticeship that we signed last week with another member of the Tennessee Road Builders Association called the Rogers Group, working directly in the nuclear industry. This young man you see here starts his work this week, and we are so excited. And it is in fuel fabrication. Other things really quickly, and I'll just skim through this really quick. Our community engagement is the foundation for marketing who we are and why we do what we do and why we care about our community. Makerspace, Tommy and Tammy TCATs are just the craziest marketing thing ever because our community loves that. Our K-12s love it. Our K-12s are bringing their teachers into the makerspace to do work and externships with us, and we're so excited about that. But the cool thing is when we have our community fairs and Tommy and Tammy TCAT show up, well, you would think rock stars are in the house. So we appreciate that. You see Skills USA mentioned on that screen. One of the things that if you saw my students last night in the red jackets, they are on their way today to Washington to the Leadership Institute. That's how we invest in our students. We're very particular about giving them good opportunities in leadership to grow their skills while they're at TCAT so they become strong citizens. And we're going to recruit them back to come back and teach and do great things for us one day. I won't spend too much time on this, but this is just a quick glance at our enrollment growth over the last 5 years. You can see there our total head count has grown exponentially. And when I say we had to have these buildings and we had to have this talented infrastructure to manage our growth, this is why. This is why. Our dual enrollment has also grown considerably over the last 5 years. We've really almost tripled, to be fair. But a good portion of our growth still remains adult learners. So we're excited about that too. And Russ, I hope you don't call me out on this, but this is from Power BI, and I hope I got it right. Okay, I copied it just right. Next, this is the most important part of our presentation. I want to present to you Miss Marcy Owens, who is our dental assisting instructor, who is going to be located right here in this building. And I hope you saw our fantastic dental assisting lab yesterday, and then her student Griffin Beeler. And then we will close it up and let you get to your meeting. Thank you all so much from TCAT. Marcy?
Thank you, Dr. Cheney. Good morning. I am the program director and lead instructor of the TCAT Knoxville Dental Assisting Program, and I am also a proud 2009 graduate of this program. This was also a period of time in 2009, 2008, where the healthcare field, dentistry in particular, was still reeling from the economic recession. Clinics were reducing staff and scaling back hours. Job opportunities were extremely limited. Thankfully, the landscape has changed. There has been growth, but with it, new challenges. Today, we're facing a nationwide shortage of trained and qualified dental assistants. Recent surveys from the American Dental Association reveal that nearly 90% of dental offices report it's extremely or moderately difficult to fill dental assisting positions, with more than a third actively recruiting. Here in Tennessee, the Department of Labor and Workforce Development is projecting sustained high demand for this profession. According to the 2024 Academic Supply and Occupational Demand Report, dental assisting ranks among the top health science occupations in demand across 7 or more of Tennessee's local workforce development areas. And with 146 dental professional shortage areas designated in our state, the need for well-trained dental support staff has never been greater. Almost weekly, I am contacted by numerous hiring dental offices from the Knoxville and surrounding counties, urgently seeking to fill these critical roles. Many of these offices are specifically requesting TCAT Knoxville graduates because they know our students are well prepared to meet the technical, professional, and interpersonal demands of the modern dental practice, ready to step into fast-paced environments and deliver excellent patient care from day one. This is why the new training facilities and equipment represent such a transformational moment in our program and our profession. Over the course of my career, I have watched as technology and the scope of delegable duties has evolved significantly. Our new instructional facilities and equipment reflect this progress, ensuring that our graduates not only meet but exceed the expectations of today's dental employers, as well as create tremendous opportunities for future growth. The expanded facilities enable more students to practice skills simultaneously. New state-of-the-art technologies enhance their knowledge and hands-on experience with current equipment and procedures implemented across more offices. Students will be better prepared for a meaningful, sustainable career in one of the fastest-growing fields in healthcare. And in doing so, we are helping address urgent needs in our community. I would like to thank the Tennessee Board of Regents and our TCAT Knoxville administration for their vision and investment in the future of this program. Thanks to Roane State Community College and Covenant Health for their partnership, as well as legislators and key members of state and local government such as Mayor Jacobs and Governor Lee for supporting this project. Also, thanks to the members of our program's advisory board, the affiliate dental practices that host our students for clinical experiences, and all former graduates who support our efforts to sustain professional standards. Because of your dedication and investments, we are not just building better facilities, we are building stronger careers, stronger communities, and a stronger healthcare workforce in Tennessee. I would now like to have you hear from one of our current dental assisting students, top of her class, Griffin Beeler.
Hello, my name is Griffin Beeler, and I'm a student in the dental assisting program at TCAT Knoxville. It is truly an honor to be here and to speak with you today. Dentistry has impacted my life in so many ways, not just in improving my teeth, but in giving me confidence in my smile. I have a congenital condition where I did not develop some of my anterior teeth, visible every time I smiled. After years of services by compassionate dental professionals, I am able to interact and communicate without feeling insecure or self-conscious. Now, I want to help others experience that same confidence while also promoting better oral health. I knew this would start with obtaining the most comprehensive education and training possible. However, like many people my age, my journey to this program wasn't a straight line. I graduated during the COVID-19 pandemic, and at that time, I tried the traditional college route. To be honest, it was a difficult season. The timing, the circumstances, and the environment just weren't the right fit for me. I knew I wanted an education, but I also needed a place where I could thrive and where my hard work would be focused on a clear career path. Ultimately, choosing TCAT proved to be an easy decision. This program is a wonderful opportunity, especially for students who may not feel like traditional college is the best fit. TCAT is tailored to specific career fields, and it equips students with the skills and knowledge to enter the workforce more quickly and confidently. These reasons made TCAT both my first choice and my final choice, because I could see how much it offered students like me who wanted a practical, career-focused education. Every day, I am learning skills that will prepare me to succeed in the dental field. For me, at 22 years old, this opportunity has been life-changing. It has given me a chance to further my education in a meaningful way while preparing me for a career where I can make a real difference. The new facility makes this experience even more impactful. It will give us hands-on practice in a true clinical setting, helping us understand exactly what it will be like to work as dental assistants. Training with the new technology and equipment now made available to us will allow us to develop the skills required to meet the most current standards of the professional dental assistant upon graduation. This is not just a gift to my class, but also to the many classes of students who will come after us and to the benefit of our future employers and patients alike. On behalf of my classmates and I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to the college administrators, legislators, and educators, and anyone else who made this possible. We are truly grateful. Thank you.
Dr. Whaley, any closing comments?
That concludes our presentation. Thank you for your time and for your attention.
Thank you. Well, that was quite a presentation. My goodness. From hearing from Teresa about our big plans on the nuclear side of the house, the great work of the Middle College, the work in Morgan County. I look forward to hearing more about that. Dr. Cheney, what a remarkable job at the TCAT Knoxville. And to Griffin, thank you for being with us and talking about your experience and what's happening in our dental assisting program. That was just outstanding. Once again, a round of applause. Thank you all. Yes, sorry. Oh, Miles, go ahead. Sorry.
I love hearing these presentations. I look forward to them at every board meeting. And it always reminds me of, you're not just in the education business, you're in the hope-giving business.
Oh, very nice.
And if you ever wonder whether or not you're making a difference, go find one of those students and ask them, let them tell their story, and you'll feel good about what it is you're doing. Makes us feel good about what we're doing too. So thank you, Dr. Whaley.
Well said. Regent Powers?
He just took my words.
Oh.
You can say it better though.
I don't know why I'm crying. That was beautiful, Griffin. That's encapsulates everything that I hope for this organization and for everybody that's touched by this organization. And so that was just beautiful to hear this morning. And in a world where things are upside down sometimes and difficult, you are light and encouragement for all of us who see people thriving and hope, really giving us hope that things are good and we are going to be okay. So thank you for that.
Stand up.
Beautifully done. So we will gavel in just momentarily for our meeting, but Mariah has asked to check mics one more time.
Regent Davis, are you on with us?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And Commissioner Reynolds?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All set? All right. With that, let's make it official and gavel in the quarterly meeting of the Tennessee Board of Regents here at the Knox Regional Health Science Center. And what a thrill it has been, as evidenced by the comments from these last presentations. I want to welcome any other officials or dignitaries that have joined us today, and to everyone watching on the live stream. A reminder to all of us, obviously, that we are being recorded live and this will be archived per state law. We do have one very special guest in the audience, and he is a surprise for someone who's coming later. I welcome back my buddy, Tom Griscom, 2010-2019 on the Tennessee Board of Regents. Thank you for being here. I hope Danny's not watching until she gets here a little later. I just kind of blew the surprise, so everybody just hang with me there. Okay, that's right. Danny, Tom, and I came to the Board of Regents together in 2010, all appointed by Governor Bredesen and subsequently reappointed by Governors Haslam and Lee. And Tom Griscom and I go back even farther from having worked for Senator Howard Baker back in the day. So Tom was much more impressive and far more senior in his responsibilities. I was kind of along for the ride as a kid. But it's been a fun ride indeed. So I'm so glad you came up. Thank you very much. I also, once again, want to thank Roane State and TCAT Knoxville for what you've done here over these 2 days. And two things occurred to me last night. Now I'm going to cry like Nisha, and don't you chime in too. But two things occurred to me last night. This all makes me very proud to be a Tennessean. Because we really can go anywhere and do most anything. And together, just like what's happening in the nuclear industry or what's happening on our campuses, we really are capable of making history, as you referenced yesterday, as we talk about the future of nuclear across our state. But the second thing that hit me last night was, this is a beautiful building. It is spectacular. It is state of the art. But buildings are built every day, and by and large, they're all pretty nice. And they fill up with great equipment, and they fill up with great furniture. But the heart of the building is filling it up with people. And that's what we've experienced here this morning and certainly throughout the day yesterday and last night's dinner, hearing from Ken at UCOR. So the stories we get to hear and what it means to the progress of TBR in the state of Tennessee are so important. So once again, thanks to everyone who serves on this board, thanks to everyone who touches our campuses, thanks to our students. You really kind of are a heartbeat of our great state. So thank you all. And sorry to get a little teary this morning, but it's just been a special time. So, on the good news front, before we ask Secretary Perry to call the roll, chime in.
Absolutely. And you all know that Dr. Perry has accepted a new position with Dick Tracy. He hired her to be the Director of Capital and TSSA BA Board Budget. But during the time that we tried to look for someone else, we realized we can't replace Mariah as our board secretary. So I wouldn't ask her. I asked Dick to ask her, would she accept both jobs? I was afraid if I asked, she would just immediately say yes to me. And I wanted her to really think about it and contemplate it. She told Dick immediately yes. So the great news is, she's going to wear two hats. She's going to be both our board secretary and still continue to work for Dick, and we're going to hire an assistant to help Dr. Perry through all of the work that she'll be doing. So we're keeping her. That's the great news.
Do you have anything you'd like to say?
Yes, it's truly an honor and a privilege, and I've shared with Chancellor Tidings and Dick that I find very much joy in working with this board, and it's just an honor. So I'm thankful to have the opportunity to continue to serve and wear two hats.
Thank you. All right, Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll, and thank you.
Absolutely. Governor Lee, Regent Bradshaw,
Present.
Regent Branscombe,
Present.
Regent Burdine.
Here.
Regent Davis, can you confirm that you can hear and speak with us and that you're alone in the room?
Yes to both questions.
Regent DeWitt? Here. Regent Gentile?
Here.
Regent George? Regent Harrell? Regent Harriman?
Here.
Commissioner Hatcher?
Here.
Regent Kastner?
Here.
Regent Powers?
Present.
Madam Chair Reynolds? Commissioner Reynolds, can you also confirm that you can hear and speak with us and that you're alone in the room?
Yes to both.
Regent Richardson?
Here.
Regent Spurgeon?
Here.
Regent Stevenson?
Here.
And Regent White.
Here.
Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. With that, as we get down to business, we have a couple of sets of meeting minutes from our last quarterly meeting, June 13, from our August 6 special called meeting. Those were, of course, provided to you in advance. Are there any changes or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, we can approve these by unanimous consent since they are routine and non-controversial in nature. But if anyone would prefer to have an individual vote, you are welcome to object, and we'll have a roll call vote. Hearing no objection, these two sets of minutes will be ratified and confirmed. Thank you very much. Chancellor, we are back to you with your interim action report.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. The interim action report was included in the materials made available to all board members prior to our meeting today. This report constitutes a record of business transacted by the Office of the Chancellor since the previous quarterly meeting of the board. Madam Chair, pending any questions, I recommend the board's approval of the report of interim action.
Any questions for the Chancellor on the interim action report? Once again, non-controversial, routine in nature. I would propose this be ratified and confirmed by unanimous consent, but if you would prefer, please object and we'll have a roll call vote. All right, hearing no objection, the interim action report is confirmed. Thank you. In your materials, you will see a letter from Mr. Peter Mayer. We initially received a written request from Mr. Mayer to address the board. Instead, he opted to send us comments to be included in your meeting packet. I would simply like to acknowledge that the comments were received, that you have a copy of that letter in your materials, and that this will be part of the board's record. So thank you very much. And let's move on to our report of committees. This morning, we'll hear from the chairs of the committees to report on our committee meetings yesterday and the audit committee meeting from last month. So we're going to do two votes. We're going to hear the first four reports and take a vote. And then, given the nature of the work of the Finance Committee, that will require a separate vote. So if I may, let me begin with Regent Spurgeon from Academic Policies.
Thank you, Vice Chair Reynolds. The Academic Policies and Programs and Student Life Committee met in public session yesterday to review reporting on the following items. Proposed revisions to TBR Policy 2.01.02.00, Technical College Program Review and Approval. Proposed revisioning of TBR Policy 2.08.10.00 to new TBR Policy 3.08.10.00, that is Development and Operation of Global Studies Programs. The Institutional Mission Profiles, Proposed TBR 2025 to 2035 Strategic Plan, Student Access and Success Trends, Learning Support and Tennessee Coaching Project, Connecting Strategy and Opportunity, the Office of Strategic Enrollment and Statewide Dual Enrollment Work, and Student Success and Strategic Partnerships. That concludes my report of the September 18th, 2025 meeting of the Committee on Academic Policies and Programs in Student Life.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. And just a reminder, when we approve these four reports, importantly, Regent Spurgeon's will include our adoption formally as a board of the strategic plan, which we're excited about.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I will offer then the report of the External Affairs Committee from yesterday. Of course, we met in a public session and we reviewed and reported on two items. We had a terrific athletics update from Chris Perkins. Thank you again very much. That was fun, a little piece of history. But also how exciting to know what goes on our campuses around athletic programs. I saw Chris this morning. You'll be pleased to know that Pellissippi solidly beat Andrew College from South Georgia last night here in town, the Pellissippi team, soccer team. So thank you for going and representing us so well. And then second of all, we heard about our legislative priorities upcoming for this next year, which of course the Finance Committee took some additional work on in the subsequent meeting. That of course concludes my report for our yesterday's meeting of the Committee on External Affairs. Then we also had a meeting of the Center for Workforce Development. And we miss Regent George today, yesterday and today. But the Workforce Development Committee did meet in a public session yesterday afternoon. We spent some time on one important reporting item, and that was, of course, an update on the Center for Workforce Development. And barring any questions or comments, that concludes our report on yesterday's Committee on Workforce Development meeting. And I will next hand this off to Regent Burdine for the Audit Committee.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Audit Committee met in regular session on 26th of August, 2025, to review and recommend approval of the following items: sunset review process, recommendation logs, miscellaneous external reviews, comptroller office audits, federal audits, and internal audit reports, system-wide internal audit updates, internal audit year-end reports for fiscal year 2025, fiscal year 2026 internal audit plans, internal audit charters for Northeast State Community College and Roane State Community College, and the Audit Committee Charter, Audit Committee responsibilities, and the 2A Global Internal Audit Standards. Madam Vice Chair, this concludes my report on the August 26, 2025 Audit Committee meeting.
Thank you, sir, as always. So we will take these four as a block. And we need a motion to approve those four committee reports.
So moved.
Thank you, Regent Burdine. And a
Second.
Thank you, Regent Spurgeon. Any discussion? All right, let's call the roll.
Regent Bradshaw,
Aye.
Regent Branscombe, Regent Burdine,
Aye.
Regent Davis,
Aye.
Regent DeWitt, Commissioner Hatcher,
Aye.
Regent Harriman,
Aye.
Regent Kastner,
Aye.
Regent Powers,
Aye.
Madam Chair Reynolds,
Aye.
Commissioner Reynolds,
Sorry. Aye.
thank you, Regent Richardson,
Aye.
Regent Spurgeon,
Aye.
Regent Stevenson,
Aye.
and Regent White.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Regent White, you're up next.
So the committee report before you for the Finance and Business Operations Committee includes the fiscal year 2026-27 legislative priorities budget request. As committee chair, I move the board approve the report of the September 18, 2025 meeting of the Committee of Finance and Business Operations, which includes the fiscal year 25-26 legislative priorities budget.
Thank you, sir. We need a motion to approve.
So I'll ask for a motion.
Thank you. Committee motion, a second.
Got a
Dan, was that a second? Thank you, ma'am. Any discussion? Hearing none, once again, we need a roll call vote.
Regent Bradshaw,
Aye.
Regent Branscombe,
Aye.
Regent Burdine,
Aye.
Regent Davis,
Aye.
Regent DeWitt, Commissioner Hatcher,
Aye.
Regent Harriman,
Aye.
Regent Kastner,
Aye.
Regent Powers,
Aye.
Madam Chair Reynolds,
Aye.
Commissioner Reynolds,
Aye.
Regent Richardson,
Aye.
Regent Spurgeon,
Aye.
Regent Stevenson,
Aye.
Regent White.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much, and that was a good discussion. Thank you. And finally, we do require one more roll call vote on personnel and compensation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Personnel and Compensation Committee met on September 18th to review and recommend approval of the following two items: faculty emeritus recommendations and executive incentive payments for the TCAP presidents and the chancellor. As committee chair, I move that the board approve the report of the September 18, 2025 meeting of the Committee of Personnel and Compensation as presented.
Thank you, ma'am. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none. One more time.
Regent Bradshaw,
Aye.
Regent Branscombe,
Aye.
Regent Burdine,
Aye.
Regent Davis,
Aye.
Regent DeWitt, Commissioner Hatcher,
Aye.
Regent Harriman,
Aye.
Regent Kastner,
Aye.
Regent Powers,
Aye.
Madam Chair Reynolds,
Aye.
Commissioner Reynolds,
Aye.
Regent Richardson,
Aye.
Regent Spurgeon,
Aye.
Regent Stevenson,
Aye.
and Regent White.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. We have a Regents Award that's been presented for excellence in philanthropy, and because it's a cause near and dear to our own heart, we've asked Regent Powers to give that report today.
Thank you again, Madam Chair. The Tennessee Board of Regents Award for Excellence in Philanthropy is a unique designation. Since 2003, TBR has been honoring the dedicated philanthropists and corporate partners who graciously donate their time and finances to TBR institutions through its Excellence in Philanthropy Awards. Today, we will acknowledge the award recipient from the presentation made on July 15th, 2025. The Women's Foundation for a Greater Memphis accepted the 2025 Regents Award of Excellence in Philanthropy as nominated by Southwest Tennessee Community College. I had the honor of presenting this award during a ceremony held on July 15th on the Macon Cove campus. The nomination and award is reflective of the Foundation's steadfast commitment to higher education at Southwest. The Women's Foundation Vocational Scholarship has changed the trajectory of many lives at the college. The scholarship opportunity breaks down barriers and creates pathways for students who might otherwise be left behind and exemplifies the Foundation's commitment to building a stronger community through higher education. On behalf of the Tennessee Board of Regents, we are proud to recognize the Women's Foundation for a Greater Memphis with the highest honor of excellence in philanthropy. For additional comments, I'm going to call up College President Dr. Tracy Hall. And while she's coming up, I'm just going to say, point of privilege, I served on this board since 2010 and stepped down just 2 years ago and got to serve as co-chair for 2 years. And it's a proud moment for me. So I just thank you, Madam Chair, for allowing me to present this. Thank you, Dr. Hall, for coming up.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It is my honor to thank Chancellor Tidings and the Board of Regents for selecting the Women's Foundation for a Greater Memphis for this award for excellence in philanthropy. This recognition is so meaningful because it affirms the Foundation's extraordinary commitment to students and families. Since 2007, they have invested more than $1 million to remove barriers like tuition, books, transportation, and emergency needs, support that has touched hundreds of lives. One of those lives is Angelica Sharif. During the presentation, Angelica talked about how when her kids have graduated from various levels of education, how she puts their pictures on her wall. And she said that at 41, she's graduating with her medical lab technology degree, due in part to the Foundation's scholarship support, and that she cannot wait to put her picture on the wall along with her children. And so it's these stories like that that help us to see again how what we do touches lives, changes families, and changes communities. And so your recognition of her, your honoring of the Women's Foundation, by doing that, you've not only lifted up the Women's Foundation, but you lift up every student in the community, and you help them to see the possibility, and you help them to know that what the Women's Foundation is doing is changing their lives. And so on behalf of Southwest Tennessee Community College, thank you for recognizing their vision, their compassion, and their impact. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hall. That concludes my report on excellence in philanthropy.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for not just being in leadership here, but for being a leader at home in Memphis, and especially for helping to guide this extraordinary organization. So thank you. We appreciate you. Chancellor, you are up with a robust chancellor's report this morning.
I do have a robust report this morning. I have a lot of information I wanted to share with you. First, I'd like to ask Dick Tracy to the podium to give us an update on our projects. At the last meeting, you saw the renderings of all the buildings that were going up. What he's going to show you today is where we are with all of those projects. So Dick, if you could run through our progress.
Sure. Thank you, Chancellor. Yeah, we've kind of put together a slideshow, and this reflects basically the $1.5 billion that the governor has funded. All right. And it'll go through the slideshow, but if you'll take a look at each of these projects, shows the project and then where we are in construction. As you can see, some of the projects are completed. A lot of the other projects are well within construction. We've had topping out ceremonies. Some of them were prepared to open the beginning of next year. Out of these projects, and this reflects not only the $1 billion worth of projects, but the previous funding that we received for the capital for the TCATs. Right now, we're on schedule to get these completed. And our goal, when we asked for this funding, was to have these projects completed or almost completed before the governor leaves office. And so right now, we're meeting that schedule that we'll have these done by the end of the fourth quarter of '26. As you can see, we've run through the issues that we typically have. We've made through, as I understand from the contractors, this has been the wettest spring and summer that we've had in 50 years or something. And so that's been a challenge. And we've got through our subsurface conditions and other situations we've had to be able to stay on schedule. We've got a pretty good group of contractors and designers on this. They understand what our mission was. They've even commented that they didn't see that this could be done even in the private world of getting this many projects at this stage within the last year and a half of getting these online. One of the challenges we have is I'm down about, well, we picked up Mariah, which has been great, but we're still down about 20% in my staff. So we're doing this with about 75% of what we typically have to get these projects, keep these projects going. So I've got people working, pretty much around the clock to keep these projects online. And as you see at the end, these are projects that we have at TSU. Right now we have about 25 projects at TSU, the ag project, and then this slide, just to show you what the impact that TBR has. This is the list of all the contractors, architects, and engineers that we have on contract on our projects right now. We have 217 projects, equals about $1.9 billion. Maintenance, that includes the projects that we're working with the LGIs on and also at TSU. But if you look at this list, you can think about these are the people that TBR has contracts with. So we're employing people within the communities. And the designers, they'll have at least 3 consultants, and the contractors have multiple subcontractors. So the investment we're having, long term will be an investment for TBR, but in the short term, we're having a huge investment in the local economies for construction. And that's been well appreciated by the locals as well as state legislators and the investment they've made. This year we received 3 capital outlay projects. We have the TCAP Memphis Aviation was funded. Nashville State, we got the Robertson County and Sumner County replacement campuses. Those we've hired designers on. We've started designing those projects. 2 of them we're working on our land acquisition, but our goal on those projects is to be breaking ground late spring or early summer of next year.
Are there any questions for Dick?
That's amazing. Amazing.
I think Region Reynolds touched on this about the buildings, and the buildings are just a part of, they're a tool that allows us to offer what we need to do. And I appreciate when we come, the wows, but what I'd like for the regions to come in and say, well, this is what we expected, right, when you come to the building. Because I think when you walk in, I think we ought to say, well, this is what we think the students and the faculty staff should inspect. So, but I appreciate all the comments we have, but if you come in and say, this is what we expect you to do, I'd appreciate that. But thank you.
I just want to mention that I had a little conversation with him yesterday, because you think behind all of this, other than the architects, engineers, and contractors, is a big team in the system office, like, I don't know, 100 people or something behind Dick. But Dick, how many people are on your team? So down,
I have 12.
and yeah, you're down some and you're still killing it. So thank you.
It is one of the teams, they work incredibly hard every single day. We just cannot give them enough credit for all that they're doing to make this happen. And I want to thank Dick again for pointing out that this is the expectation for TBR. This is the expectation for our students. It is what they deserve every single day. So we are so thankful to those that are making it happen. I do have a lot of other items I want to bring before you today. We're going to start off now with a look at AI. Over the past few years, the world has been introduced to this emerging and wonderful power of AI. And we've talked about it a lot. We've all tried to wrap our hands around it. You heard some about it yesterday. But what I'd like to do now is to give you a little bit more of a deep dive into what we are doing at the Tennessee Board of Regents, what we've been doing, and let you hear from some of our experts. So, Dr. Deaton, I'm going to call on you first to come up and introduce these experts that are going to give some more information to you about AI.
Indeed. Well, thank you, Chancellor Tidings, Vice Chair Reynolds, members of the board. You know, if you inject AI into any conversation, there's a cascade of emotions and thoughts that tend to follow, right? I mean, there's excitement for a new, very transformative technology for which the opportunities are really limitless at this point. There's dread. We don't really know exactly what it is, what it might be, how disruptive it will be to our daily lives. There's curiosity, as it allows us to imagine anew our challenges and opportunities as we consider how something very new can impact the world around us. And a lot like previous technologies, whether it's the internet or smartphones, the terrain is rapidly changing beneath our feet. And AI is an even more complex and fluid opportunity and challenge. Its impact on all of us is, and our people, is profound. It's not in full view yet, and it's bound to change our reality. We've made some first steps along the way in understanding and defining that reality. This board has adopted an AI policy recently. AI's use across the system has been very organic thus far. It's been creative, as you'll see in a moment. It's been very bold. We're in the early stages of figuring out exactly how to wield it. And several of our colleges have raced ahead and are exhibiting the innovative spirit with which we hope they would approach this topic. So therefore, AI, as you'll see, is not necessarily an object or a tool in and of itself, but its power lies in how we put it to use and how we address existing challenges and the trade-offs that will come with those decisions. TBR's new strategic plan, which has been freshly adopted, offers a bit of a lens through which to view this. You're going to see some central questions we try to wrestle with today and in the future about how we think about the alignment question. How do we balance AI's practical use with integrity, and how we increase and focus on student learning? When we think about improvement, there's a significant potential for AI to disrupt in a positive way everything that goes on the campus. AI is embedded in many of our systems now. How do we harness that power? And then how do we leverage TBR's interconnectedness as a system to be able to provide opportunities for learning across the colleges, across the staff here? Today we're going to do deep dives into two areas. You're going to hear from Dr. Reed about AI's use in workforce alignment and pedagogy, and how TBR faculty and staff across the system are impacting what we teach and how we teach it. And then second, we're going to spend most of our time on its ability to offer powerful new tools to improve the student experience. You're going to hear from Jamie Stringer here, Vice President of Student Success and Innovation at Roane State, with some exciting use cases and experiments in AI and how it can potentially change for the better everything our students experience. This is not the last time you will hear about AI. This will be an ongoing topic we bring to you at the future board meetings. But for now, let me ask Joffrey to come talk about AI's use around workforce and alignment.
Thank you, Dr. Deaton, and good morning, Madam Chair Reynolds, Chancellor Tidings, and members of the board. I want to highlight for you, again, that TBR has a really strong foundation and a unique opportunity to shape how AI supports learning, workforce readiness, and innovation across Tennessee. When we look at national trends in AI licensing and integration are rapidly becoming standard across higher education. And when we look at TBR's position nationally, we're one of the few multi-college systems in the southeast of the country with both a formal AI policy and an active pilot and volunteer state, positioning us as a leader in this region. Again, we have a system-wide AI framework, which we're talking about this integrated strategy with many divisions across TBR and our colleges engaged in this work. And when we look at student and faculty usage, 92% of students nationwide are already using AI, and yet they feel unprepared based on survey results. In a survey at Motlow State, 68% of faculty report using AI, and 72% of their students see it as essential for student success, highlighting strong readiness for a large-scale adoption of AI with our system. When we look at employer signals in this space, 78% of employers plan to hire AI-related roles within the next 12 to 18 months, with AI skills linked to higher wages and a growing demand. So the opportunity for TBR is that we are uniquely positioned nationally to create this equitable AI adoption, integrate durable skills, employer alignment, and student success at scale. When we look at some of the options here, we talked yesterday quite a bit about all the innovations in this space across the system. So I wanted to highlight here the collaborative nature of AI engagement and work across the system. We are partnered with almost all of our colleges to provide virtual training for faculty, administrators, staff, and students. We're doing that virtually. We're doing that on ground, going to the colleges, getting in the space with those folks who are requesting that customized training. We're also developing an online course for faculty for AI literacy that we will co-host and put on the Center for Teaching and Learning platform so faculty can access that at any point. And we're also partnering with the Center for Workforce Development to work with employers across the state to see how we can integrate AI customized training for their employees and ensuring their workforce competencies are integrated into the AI modules that we're putting into our programs across the board. And so again, we all know AI is transforming the workforce faster than ever. When we look at the first quarter of 2025, there were over 35,000 AI posted jobs across this country. Tennessee is rapidly leading in that space with over 167,000 jobs requiring AI skills and competencies with an average salary of $157,000. So it becomes really essential that we continue to meet this opportunity heads on with our strategies to ensure our students are career ready in an AI-driven economy. Talking more about that student experience, I would like to invite Dr. Jamie Stringer to talk about the incredible innovations that Roane State is doing to impact the student experience. Dr. Stringer.
Thank you, Dr. Reed. Good morning to everybody. You're looking at the luckiest person in the state of Tennessee because I get a job where I get to celebrate student success and also technology. So that's what I put my life's goal for. So you'll get to see that today, hopefully. So we're going to talk about the impact of artificial intelligence on student success at Roane State. What I want to say up front, this does not replace people. So everything I'm going to show you today has been built with a core of keeping people in place to work with students. That's the most important part of everything we do. So what I'm going to show you are products and models that allow everyday tasks to be relieved, and it allows us to see more into what students need. But we are not trying to replace people because that's the most important part of student success is somebody actually talking to a student, actually working with a student, and making sure they're succeeding and on track. So what's different about the AI innovation model? There are two things that are different at Roane State. The first one is that we didn't try to do this alone. We quickly recognize that AI is a worldwide product and there are many thousands of experts out there and partners that we can go out and do. So what we did, we invented an entrepreneurial hub where we actually bring in companies, startup companies who have really great ideas. We bring in other universities, and so they can share our ideas. They can take our knowledge of student services, our knowledge of functional use cases, and then they can tell us what they can offer, and we can build a product together. So we're not buying off-the-shelf products. We're not trying to do AI prompt recognition where we're teaching somebody how to ask AI the right question. We are actually coding the AI. We are building the models. We are doing the math, which is the hard part. And we'll see one of our partners, Georgia Tech, in a minute. When we had our first meeting, what they told me was, don't worry about the technology. We do that every day. We have to do the math. And that's where we are. We have to do the math to figure out how we make these things do what we want to do. The second thing is research in the wild. So as I just said, we are not buying products. So we have become a research institution. So we bring in ideas, we bring in products that people think will work, and we research those. We use Roane State as a lab. We use the employees as a lab. What do they know? How can we use that to streamline products? Because in the end, these companies want to sell these products. They want to do the best for other colleges and universities that they can. And so we're offering them that, and they're offering us their very specialized expertise. Bringing all that together as a model, as opposed to going out and buying products, lets us go places that nobody else has even thought of. So when you put together a room of people and they start brainstorming and talking about AI and what it can do, along with people who at their core really want students to succeed, then you get really great products built from the ground up. You get an infrastructure. You get an ecosystem that is dedicated to one thing, and that is dedicated to student success. So I'm going to share with you 5 partners we have today and what we're doing. All right. The first one, thanks to our Chancellor and Vice Chancellor McCormick, who introduced us to Georgia Tech. That's our first partner and was our first partner, and we cannot say enough about how they've helped us, how they've explained stuff to us, even to get ready for these other partners to prepare us to start us out in the right direction. Ramblin' Wreck. There you go. So we talk about being proactive in student success. Gosh, if we were just proactive, if we just knew something before the student told us, wouldn't that be great? And that is the product that we're looking for with Georgia Tech, is being able to look into the future. So what we do as a student comes in, we actually collect data from multiple sources. We take that data and we apply it to an algorithm. And that set of rules, we actually apply it to 3 algorithms. Those set of rules take 27 criterion that they have determined, through the math we had to do, to make a student successful or not successful. That generates a score. And because we're educators, we love the 1 to 100 score, the 0 to 100 score. So that's what it is, a 0 to 100. We will predict how successful that student will be within a week of meeting that student. It will also tell us the barriers in which that student will have problems, the problems that student's facing, and it will also give us solutions that can mitigate those problems. So if you imagine meeting with your success coach in our model the very first time they're going to sit down, they're going to have this on their screen, or maybe they've looked at it before the meeting, and they're going to know the problems that you're facing. And so when you tell them, they're already going to have solutions in place. They're already going to be thinking about that. They're already going to be planning about that. As I said, it's 3 algorithms that we built on this model. We did not trust one, so it takes those 3 and they vote. And so if 2 of the 3 win, that determines the score. And they look at it through different lenses. So they all have their own point of view, and they're all voting to see how successful that is. So we are super excited about that. We're about 87% done, so this is very practical stuff. This is not in theory. We are getting ready to build the front end to this. We are right now at about 78 to 79% correct, because we've sent them all the data since 2008. They have been able to look when a student came in and see if that student was successful and whether or not the model predicted it. So they already know they're about 78%. But the part that came up that really revolutionizes this, it does away with alert systems. So if you're an early alert system, if you're a faculty member sitting in a classroom, you're asked to go down and check mark, is this student on track? Is it not on track? Who's having trouble? That's a big load for a faculty if you're teaching 200 people. What this model does is actually look at that student, and it's a dynamic number, it's live. So it's actually going out and looking at their online classes. It's looking at different criteria, and it's saying this person's struggling. So then it's going to text or email their instructor and ask a very pointed question. So it's no longer a general question. Is Jamie coming to class? Is Jamie struggling in these assignments? That data is going to be sent back to the models. The success coach will then see those updated scores along with the mediations we can do, and then we can intercede there. So that's just super for a success coach, if you can imagine. It's like having your own intelligence officer out there every day in a classroom trying to figure out what's going on. And it revolutionizes the alert system and makes it much easier for faculty who don't have to manage a load of reporting about 200 students. It may be 20 students now, and we can really focus on those students and get them over whatever barrier they face. The second one is a company called Polis, which actually came to us through Harvard Innovation Labs. So it's not often that you get to see Harvard Innovation Lab logos and Roane State logos together, but with this product you do. The founder of this company actually teaches currently at Harvard and is a lifelong instructor. So he comes to us with that academic background. There's two phases to this project. Our first phase is to lift the load off of our success coaches. So when you think about when a student meets with a success coach, there's all kinds of administrative tasks we ask them to do. We ask them to create a log. We ask them to create tasks. We ask you to communicate with those students those tasks to make sure those tasks are done. With this product, when you meet with the student the first time, whether you're live or you're on a virtual system such as Zoom or Teams, it actually has a helper in the system that listens to the conversation. And it's making a log. It's actually making a summary for the coach right then. So that takes that off them. They don't have to sit there and worry about taking notes. You know, when I teach class, I tell my students, focus on me, don't worry about taking notes. So this allows that success coach to totally focus on that student. And that log is being created for them. All right? At the end of that meeting, it creates a list of tasks for those students. And it sends it to the student and says, you need to complete these things. It also creates a list of tasks for the success coach to remind them of what they need to do. But the cool part of this is that the next time they meet, it remembers the previous meeting and builds upon that. And it reminds the coach, you need to go out and do these tasks, get ready for this. This is what y'all talked about last time. And it's super important you cover this again, get updates, those sort of things. So it's helping that coach. The second part, which is just kind of blows my mind. This is great. If you think of a heads-up display on a fighter plane that helps a pilot, it tells him the altitude right in front of him, right? It tells him if anybody's around looking at him, all that. We are building a heads-up display for advisors and success coaches. So as you're sitting there talking to the student, there's a monitor here. It's going to be giving you prompts from live data from our student information system. And it says, Jamie is not doing well with his financial aid, have him do this. And so you can communicate that. It's not telling the student, it's telling the coach or the advisor. This student is struggling in this. Talk to him about that. So it's not controlling the meeting, but it is giving them information, live information from things they would have to go to screens and look up so that they'll be able to have real conversations. Remember when we started back at the beginning, it's about having human interaction. Now I can look you in the eye as opposed to this and say, oh yeah, you need this and this and this. I get to talk to you. I get to know more about you. I also get to know more about your life because the less time we spend on that, the more we can spend talking about other things. We predict that it will say somewhere that between 8 to 10 hours per week per coach. That's more time that they can spend with their students on success and getting past barriers. Now, if you are a data nerd, which I'm not smart enough to be, but I know there's people in the room that are. There's a company started by a young lady from Stanford and one from Penn Wharton, a young man from Penn Wharton, who contacted me. They're a startup. And they said, we have an idea for higher ed. What do you think about it? And we sat down and we talked about it and we brought them into this group. And what that idea was is revolutionary. Today, data is trapped in different silos. So the State Department knows this, Roane State knows this, Pellissippi knows this, Chattanooga State knows this, but nothing's tying those together. What this system does through AI is actually connect to all those divergent systems, pulls all that data together, unifies that data, cleans that data, and then at a prompt, I can ask it for live data at any time. So for instance, if we were in this meeting, I could very well say, how many students at Roane State are on academic probation? Within seconds, it will tell me. I could then ask it, how many students are at Roane State on academic probation that came from high school with a 2.0 or lower GPA? Instantly, I would know that knowledge. It would create charts for me then, it would summarize the knowledge, and it would give me the raw data. So imagine the brainstorming that can take place in a school or a boardroom or a leadership where I can ask questions, brainstorm about it, and get that information that used to take weeks or even months to do that. This is truly one of the most revolutionary parts. We also modeled it after an IR office. So we asked clarifying questions. So for instance, if I said, how many students are on probation? It would say, what do you mean by probation? Is it the standard, less than 2.0? You can put in a custom range. And I would say it's the standard definition. And then it would go out and it would come back and it would ask me, what do you want to know for this year, this semester, the last 2 years, the last 5 years? Or do you want to put in custom dates? And so it's walking you through this. And this democratizes data. We can have this at every level now, right? We can have people asking questions that they don't know, they don't need to know how to code. They don't need to go out and get data and put it together and learn how to do all that. They can just ask simple natural language questions and get those results. It's also built to be user specific so that if I'm not supposed to know that, it will tell me. So if I ask it a question I'm not supposed to know, it's going to say, Jamie, you don't have the privileges to know that information. So it really gets information into the hands of the people that can use it and make decisions with it instantaneously, as opposed to a long process of planning. That planning gets immediate. Now these last two are together, and the reason they are is because we're not making a new product. We are taking a product they have, and we are putting it to new use. So we're working with them. The first is With. This is a Canadian company. They are experts at job fairs. They're one of the major job fair companies in Canada. But what they want to do, they want to get into student recruiting. And so we are working together to build an AI model that will actually identify students, what programs are likely to be interested in, and then start a communication channel with that student. So if I'm at a high school and I talk to a student and they say, Jamie, I'd really like to be a nurse. That information goes into the system. The system starts sending them information about nursing at Roane State. Here's a pamphlet, and it'll send it through a text. Do you have a question about that? And it continues to lead them along the way of that path, while also bringing in a live person. We always want to go back to humans from Roane State to have those discussions too. But it's much more timely. It's just-in-time delivery of that information when we need it. And then the last one is called Enlit EDU. We start this next month. This will actually become live next month. It has 3 prongs of uses. The first one is that it allows transfer credits, transcripts to be uploaded. It immediately reads all the courses. It doesn't do it by a template. It literally reads a transcript. It also has access to every college catalog in the world. It will then equate those courses immediately and put that back to our processors who can say, yes, that's right. Click, and it goes into our student information system. If it doesn't know what a course is, it sends it to our dean, and it asks that dean in an email, what do you think this course is equivalent to? They answer that. They never have to answer it again. It learns that, so they're not going to ask them that again. So we're going to be able to process instantaneously, where it used to take 3 to 5 to 7 days to get course credit posted. Now, the second one is high schools. So we get lots of documents from high schools, right? But this process can read those documents. That's the key. It can read them. It's not looking for something. It can read them. So then as students or counselors turn in information, think about dual enrollment, the parent form, those sort of things they have to turn in, it literally can read those and place that information into our SIS system. So that's taking out time it would take somebody to type that. And then the third, which is probably the most impressive part, is it can have a student-facing portal. So if I'm interested in Roane State and I want to be an engineer, but let's say I've been to some other colleges before, without interacting with anybody at Roane State, I can upload my transcript. It can then tell me what credit I'm going to get from Roane State. It can automatically equate those and say, you're already 30, 40% there, instantaneously. So imagine people out there on the web, or even if we have recruiters at a site and they say, gosh, I've got all this credit, what does it mean? We hear that a lot. Now we can actually tell them within seconds what that means and how that's awarded to them. So those are the projects that we are working on. Again, they're employee-based, staff-based, team-based, student-based, student-centered. So the technology is really cool, but we don't want anybody to ever see the technology. We want this to be a completely human interaction that just happens to be enhanced by the technology. And I think Dr. Deaton has one more slide.
Jamie, thanks. In a second, Jothany and Jamie and I will take some questions. Just to kind of, wrap this up, as you can see, AI is not really some sort of distinct initiative. This is a broad strategy, and you're seeing it being very cleverly deployed with some widespread potential. This is a very active space, obviously, as you can see, across all colleges as we learn about its potential and its use. We are even deploying internal to TBR a cross-functional strategy team to begin to explore other uses of it. Many colleges are using AI in some very clever ways. How do we get our arms around that? How do we provide opportunities for those folks to learn from each other? Thirdly, we're going to be doing an upcoming landscape scan to get a sense of how else are colleges using and deploying AI in different ways than we're thinking about here. What are their strategic opportunities that they want to learn more about? How can they learn from what's going on, for instance, here at Roane State? And then finally, again, this will not be the last time you hear from this. The Chancellor's asked us to bring you back additional use cases of AI over the next few quarterly meetings, other ways in which our campuses are deploying it, how they can, again, learn from each other as they go. So obviously, this is very exciting stuff. We stand ready to answer questions, mostly Jamie and Jothany, but we stand ready to take some questions, Vice Chair.
Questions, comments?
Just a few comments. This is absolutely fascinating, and I think you should be commended on all this work. And as most of us know, AI is advancing faster than anybody in this room really realizes. What you're doing here is going to benefit this entire system. I think there's an example in this room of something we need to make sure we're thinking about. As Dr. Perry is as good as she is, if we did board meetings and captured data the way we did 10 years ago, you couldn't do both jobs. I mean, AI is helping you become more efficient. And so a lot of the things that you're describing is putting enhanced efficiency and productivity into your systems, which means that it will impact jobs that exist today. And just an example is, a paralegal. Is there a way that we can start using this data so that 5 years from now, if someone comes to us and says, I want to enter the paralegal program, is that a good idea? Because if I'm an attorney, if I've got 2 paralegals, first step is I'm only going to need 1. So is there a way to enter predictive analysis into that so that we can start looking at the curriculum that we're going to need 5 to 10 years from now?
Absolutely, and the Straya program that we showed you there has the ability. We did not build it to collect data. It actually connects live to all kinds of data sources. So if there's any data sources that has a gateway, an API that it can connect to, then it can bring all that. And the beauty of that is it gives you a full picture. Right now, if I ask data at Roane State what's going on, I'm going to see what's in our student system. But this brings in all different systems from across the country, the world, and then pairs that data together to give us a better picture. So absolutely, we could look at the Department of Labor. They have an API. We plug into that. Then it's going to tell us, compared to our data with their data in the background, instantaneously that's sort of forecast.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And just to follow up on what you said about the changing technology, and Jamie's living this every day, but at a recent meeting on an AI panel, one of the AI experts who works for a corporation said that one of the board members, asked in a board meeting, well, what's your 3-year strategic plan? And he said, I probably shouldn't have said it as forcefully as I did, but he said, I pushed back and said, I can barely give you a 3-month strategic plan, much less a 3-year strategic plan at this point.
Absolutely. I think when you put people at the core of that makes that a little easier. What we've done is try to build infrastructure that allows that to change, but there's still a bones of the system, and then people at the core, so we know how it's going to affect people and how it's going to take those things. So, yeah, we can't predict the technology change, but we can predict how we're going to react to that and have a plan to implement it.
Chancellor.
Jamie, thank you so much. And it's the one message that I really want you to continue to hear is this takes people. We are not replacing people. If anything, we continue to need our advisors and our counselors to do the work. What we're trying to do is put the tools in their hand to make them as efficient as possible to serve the student. And that's the great work that Jamie and the team have been working on for quite some time. And I think, Jamie, correct me if I'm wrong, but we actually started this partnership with Georgia Tech back in 2018. We had a little bit of a lull because of COVID, but they have diligently been working on this for a good long time now.
Yes, ma'am. The pandemic did put us behind. One of the things we didn't think about going in was how the data was used and how people would react to the data. So Georgia Tech, I can't say enough about them. They assigned a person, an expert in ethics for us. So for instance, if I give a student a score of a 15, does that mean you abandon that student or you try 5 times as hard? And those are the questions that we have to look at. How do we adjust to that? So a lot of this is the math, right? It took us a long time to do the math, the technology infrastructure. But really the next step is how does that work with real live people? And how do we make sure that we get the results we want from those real live people? Yes.
One more question. I apologize for being late here, but this is incredibly fascinating and incredibly powerful, and it is evolving, faster than the speed of light. And it scares me in some respects. Sure. And it scares me in the sense of I'm in the healthcare world, and confidentiality of patient information is critical and paramount. And I worry about when we talk about, or I hear you talk about, the breadth of data that's available to some of these companies, and I worry about the confidentiality of student transcripts and how do we respect that. And then secondarily, I worry about, because we've all probably experienced this, when there's something that's published about you or that's in some record that's in error, how do you correct it? How do you stop that from following you around for the rest of your life?
Sure.
So confidentiality and accuracy are the two things that I worry about.
So that was absolutely top of mind when we started this. The advantage we have is we're not buying a product off a shelf. So when we went in and started talking to these partners, we've got people that have been in student services for 35 years. We got registrar, all these different things. And that's exactly the questions they ask. And that's what we invited them to ask. And so we're able to build those safeguards from the ground up into our system, where I can't say what Google's doing, right? I can't tell you what's behind the scene or under the hood, but I can tell you what's in my stuff. And I can tell you that we've put safeguards in. TBR has standards that we have to meet. The college has standards we have to meet. And a lot of this time is working through lawyers, working through systems. So we're not just going out and giving people information. We really have thought about that. It's one of the most important things to me, because once I lose that information, I can never get it back. So that is super at top of mind and how we're approaching that. But I think we get to mediate that by being under the hood with them and saying, no, we're not going to do that. But yes, this is how you're going to use this, and really getting to be in charge. Oh, accuracy, sorry. Accuracy with AI, that's always an issue, right? And then if people put stuff out, how do you know it's real? Again, what we're going to do is build with these folks. We're going to build filters where we don't really need to know everything about a person. So there's some things we're just going to say, it doesn't matter what that says. We're not going to bring that in. Going back to Georgia Tech again, one thing they said is that everything that we do has to be performance-based. So they're not looking at anything else outside of how a student does, how they're performing in the classroom, how they're performing with academics. So I wish there was a technological answer, but really it comes back to people, and we just have to safeguard that and keep on top of it and make sure that we're using the right data for the right reasons. So sometimes we have the right data, but we can use it for the wrong reasons, and we don't want to do that. Questions?
Thank you so much, Jamie. Appreciate
thank
you. Appreciate all the team and the work they put into this today. And again, as Russ has said, we want to continue to keep you updated on what we're doing in this area because it is changing every 3 minutes or so. So we want to be able to bring these to you and make sure that you're informed. So, Madam Chair, if you don't mind, I'm going to go on to my next topic this morning. I wanted to give you an update on our sales program. I know for our current board members, the new board members may not be as familiar with sales, but since its inception in spring of 2012, more than 92,000 Tennessee high school students have successfully completed the sales program. SALE stands for Seamless Alignment and Integrated Learning Support. We put that in the high school. These are students that have tested, that are showing that they're going to need remediation when they go to college, but we're providing that remediation for them in the high school. The statistics that reveal that we have a 76% completion rate this year, which is up from 73% the previous year. This increase reflects our continued focus on improving the course design and strengthening student support systems to ensure that more learners meet their higher education goals. In its first year, the Mathematical Reasoning for Decision-Making pilot project served over 2,600 students statewide. The MRDM is aligned with the K-12 system's new fourth-year math course, and enrollment will exceed 7,000 students just this academic year. Following a successful spring trial with 5 high schools across the state, we are now working to incorporate the Ready for Industry curriculum into the fall 2025 MRDM course. Ready for Industry supports TBR's workforce development mission by helping students bridge the gap between classroom learning and their real-world job expectations. With RFI content related to high-demand fields like healthcare, manufacturing, logistics, construction, and IT, SALES will equip learners with foundational knowledge and career insight needed to succeed in today's workforce. So not only are we shoring up their remedial deficiencies they may have, we are also now trying to expose them to career exploration, to career enhancement, so that they can begin to make some decisions before entering into college. The SALES program has been awarded a $200,000 grant to cover the next 2 years from the Alliance for Decision Education, a national nonprofit dedicated to empowering students with the skills and mindsets needed to make better decisions throughout their lives. This award directly supports TBR's mission of student success and workforce development. Both SALES and ADE share a commitment to equipping our students with the practical reasoning, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills that are necessary for post-secondary achievement and success in today's workforce. This surge in interest for all SALES courses underscores the value of offering multiple relevant math pathways that align with students' academic and career goals. As SALES continues to grow, our commitment remains clear: expanding access, improving outcomes, and supporting student success and development across the state of Tennessee. Are there any questions about SALES? Well, I'm going to jump right into my next section. I do want to talk to you today about our core education, general education core, and the updates that we've done there. You'll recall that a year ago at the September 2024 meeting, you approved policy revisions to enable us to incorporate the new general education core into the community college curriculum. For our newer members, work on the core project began 6 years ago in 2019 with a series of exploratory meetings to evaluate the state of general education across our community college system. From those meetings, there were virtually unanimous agreement that we needed a general education core framework that would equip all students with the essential skills and knowledge for success. In an era where job markets are constantly changing, adaptable and agility have to be critical components. An 18-member committee of faculty and academic members representing all 13 community colleges and our Office of Academic Affairs at the system, and ultimately involving over 3,000 faculty members across the system. They worked for 5 years researching, planning, and developing the general education core. It is designed to equip students with the ability to think critically and adapt to new challenges. Whether it's analytical data, understanding cultural context, or communicating effectively, the skills gained through core courses are transferable across multiple careers and industries. This versatility makes graduates more competitive and better prepared to navigate a world of evolving opportunities and a very complex workforce. After you reviewed the finished product 1 year ago, you approved the policy revisions to permit its rollout starting this fall. I'm very proud to report to you today that the 2025 TBR General Education Core went into effect when community college classes started this past month. Students pursuing Associate of Science or Associate of Arts degrees will take 41 of their 60 credit hours in these core courses. Students pursuing Associate of Applied Science degrees will take 15 to 17 credit hours in these core courses. These credits include courses in humanities, history, social and behavioral sciences, natural sciences, mathematics, and communication, with students choosing the specific courses within the TBR core framework. The core incorporates a constellation of 7 core competencies critical for personal and professional growth. The constellation's North Star is critical thinking, which guides the development of all core courses in the student's degree program. The 2025 TBR core has gained national attention because it is designed to get students' attention. The core model shows students the importance, relevance, and integral nature of their general education in preparing them for professional success and a lifetime of personal discovery. One of the nation's largest higher educational and professional organizations, the American Association of Colleges and Universities, is using the video that we're about to see as a teaching tool for how to do this right. They are showing it at their workshops, consulting visits, and professional development seminars on campuses across the country. They are also posting it on their website to showcase TBR's commitment to curriculum and pedagogical innovation. We could play the video now, hopefully.
Preparing students to navigate a world of evolving opportunities is a critical component of TBR's General Education Core. The core challenges students to discover the inherent interconnectedness of knowledge and the intersection of self and society. The core develops skills in acquiring and evaluating information, communicating ideas effectively, and employing critical reasoning to solve problems. Students develop a curiosity for learning and an appreciation of conceptual complexities, as well as a deepened sense of their own beliefs and values. Through the core, students discover the richness of cultural diversity and acquire an appreciation for human commonality. The core competencies encompass 7 important skill areas: communication, critical thinking, creative and artistic expression, global and cultural awareness, scientific inquiry and mathematical reasoning, information literacy, and ethical reasoning. Ultimately, the General Education Core seeks to equip every student with the foundation they need to pursue a challenging career, experience a rewarding personal life, and inspire others to do the same.
And finally, I am very excited and honored and delighted to inform you that the AACU just announced this week that the TBR Office of Academic Affairs is the recipient of the prestigious AACU Terrell L. Rhodes Game Changer Award for 2026 for its innovative and transformative work on the General Education Core. The Game Changer Award is named after the distinguished former Vice President of AACU, Terrell Rhodes, and is one of only 5 awards that AACU presents annually. It will be presented at AACU's National Conference next spring. And a brief excerpt from the letter when they sent to us said, the TBR Office of Academic Affairs has distinguished itself through its remarkable system-wide collaborative reimagination of the TBR core curriculum. This comprehensive transformation represents far more than a simple curriculum revision. It embodies a fundamental shift towards student-centered learning that prioritizes academic excellence and the cultivation of the critical competencies students and graduates need to thrive in work and in life. By bringing together faculty, administrators, and staff from across the system, you have created a unified vision that respects the unique strengths of individual institutions while establishing coherent, high-quality educational standards that serve all students. This collaborative approach has not only strengthened the academic foundation for thousands of Tennessean students, but it's also created a replicable model for other state systems seeking to enhance what they do. I personally want to thank Vice Chancellor Jothany Reed and her entire academic affairs team, including Dr. Robert Den, Associate Vice Chancellor, who led this system work, and the 22 different faculty and academic leaders on our campuses who rotated onto the committee during its 5 years of work, and finally, all 3,000 of the faculty that were engaged in this work across our system. We, and more importantly, our students, are indebted to each and every one of you that worked on this. You are the game changers for our system. Thank you. And then because being a regent is also stressful, you'll find that you have a ball at your desk with a competency that most likely you relied upon in your professional life. So you each have a competency in front of you. Thank you all for the work that you're doing. Again, I'm going to give one other quick update here. Sorry, I keep going on. Correctional Education Initiative, let me give you an update there. TBR's correctional education efforts through the Tennessee Prison College Coalition have earned national recognition and are continuing to expand. Beginning this fall, more than 25,000 incarcerated learners will access self-paced online training via PATH tablets. Completion of the Technology Foundations course will count as the first 30 clock hours in over 90% of TCAP programs, directly connecting these learners to credentials and careers. The 3-tier CEI model includes worker characteristic courses, industry certifications, and hybrid programs such as the Microsoft Office Specialist and Google certificates. This very bold plan provides unprecedented access to education, skill building, and workforce pathways, again positioning TBR as a national model in correctional education. Thank you, Madam Chair, and that completes my highlights for today.
I don't think you have enough going on.
I don't think you do.
Wow, what an amazing report. So, and the award,
Couldn't have been more timely.
that's perfection. So again, congratulations to the team. That's extraordinary. Questions, comments for the Chancellor? Wow, I think we're just all blown away.
It does take a long time. It does take a long time, but I feel like we're in a really good place thanks to this incredible team that we have.
Great, thank you. Thanks for all you do, by the way. Speaking of game changers, thank you. So much appreciated. Anything else? All right. We have no unfinished business to come before the board at this time, so let's move into the rhythm of our action items here. And we will begin with the consent agenda, which has a couple of items today. The first being one that we were briefed on back in August at committee chairs meeting, and that's some proposed revisions to our policy on development and approval of policies. Does anyone have any questions on that? Brian is here to fill us in, and if not, we will entertain a motion to approve those revisions.
So moved.
Thank you, Miles. Second? Second. Thank you, Mr. Bradshaw. Any discussion? All right, hearing none. Since we have some meeting remotely, we'll need to do a roll call vote, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Regent Bradshaw.
Aye.
Regent Branscombe.
Aye.
Regent Burdine.
Aye.
Regent Davis.
Aye.
Regent DeWitt. Commissioner Hatcher.
Aye.
Regent Harriman.
Aye.
Regent Kastner.
Aye.
Regent Powers.
Aye.
Madam Chair Reynolds.
Aye.
Commissioner Reynolds.
Aye.
Regent Richardson.
Aye.
Regent Spurgeon.
Aye.
Regent Stevenson.
Aye.
And Regent White.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. And Brian is still up with our proposed bylaw revisions.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This will be the third reading of our proposed revisions to the bylaws. It requires at least two for the bylaws. We had some revisions that were discussed that will be included in the presentation. So what we're doing today is discussing them and hopefully voting on the proposed revisions. There are really three main reasons why we're revising the bylaws. The first is the General Assembly amended our statute to create 2 new board member positions, voting one of whom we have, one of whom we are eagerly awaiting. And that changes the number of people we should have for a quorum. Secondly, we went through it at Vice Chair Reynolds' leadership and looked at the things of what are we doing, what's in there that we're not doing that we can clean up, under the theory that if you've got a policy, you ought to be following your policy, or you ought to change your policy. So we're essentially looking at how we can change it to conform with what we're doing. And then third, there's some stylistic revisions that just increase consistency and clarity that I won't go into in any detail, but which are included in the track changes version of what you've got in your materials. So like I said, the first substantive revision is really the size of a quorum. And because we've now got 19 voting members, we've increased it to 19 voting members. Right now in the bylaws, we have a quorum of 9, which is less than a majority. So what we proposed is, because it will increase the size of the board by 2, rather than going to 10 members, we proposed that a simple majority instead of a specific number. That will, if we have fewer people on the board for some reason later in the future, still allow the board to meet and conduct business if there's not 10 people there. And then a conforming change is made to change the number of people who must vote to approve changes to the bylaws. Currently, that's 9. And again, we're moving, if you approve it, to a simple majority of the voting members to change the bylaws. The next series of substantive changes really deal with the different committees. On page 8 of the materials that you've got, talk about some changes to the Committee on Business and Finance. The first one is a kind of a cleanup matter. It removes a reference to activity that the committee really is no longer performing in practice, but it also includes the specific oversight of that function that is already in subsection B above that. The next proposed revision removes reference to insurance coverage of buildings and their contents. As Dick Tracy explained a couple board meetings ago, that is not something that this system does. That is something that is done by the state of Tennessee's Department of Risk Management, which is in the Division of Treasury. So they've got the responsibility for obtaining the correct amount of insurance for the building and the contents. Then the final matter for the Committee on Business Finance is to reflect another duty that is held by the state and not this board, which is investing money and reinvesting money. So that's really not something this board oversees, so it probably shouldn't be in the bylaws. With respect to the Committee on Academic Policies and Programs and Student Life, there's a removal of a reference to extension services. Extension services is a term that really relates to land-grant institutions, and because TSU, which is one of the 2 land-grant institutions in the state, is no longer governed by this board, but rather has its own board, it's not necessary to include that extension services language in there. The other references to student housing, as I think most people on the board recognize, we do not have residence halls in the Tennessee Board of Regents system, so the necessity to oversee them is really not there. With respect to the Committee on Workforce Development, there are 2 proposed changes. Both are on page 8 of the bylaws that you've got. And it really reflects that the Committee on Workforce Development is not responsible for approving academic decisions. That's held by the academic committee. So that is straightened out with respect to section 3L4B1, I think. And then the next is just some generally updating of language, removing specific reference to the Drive for 55, for example, but rather to say that we're working on economic development goals as established by the governor to General Assembly and THEC. So it's a bit broader, taking out the specifics so the language doesn't become dated. Then with respect to the chancellor's duties, there's the proposed elimination of a reference to branches within the TBR system, because we really don't use that term branches. We have different colleges, we have different campuses, but don't really hear people talking about branches. And then finally, there's another update to the language to recognize that the chancellor doesn't provide an annual report any longer. Rather, there are ongoing reports that are provided that this board receives that are on our website, and they're what is required by the General Assembly, THEC, as well as the governor's office. So that's the proposal there, is to just say that the chancellor will provide reports as required and requested, as opposed to specific that are kind of dated. So with that, I'll be happy to take any questions.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Tom said the use of the word branch has always bothered him anyway, so. We have a motion and a second. On a serious note, are there any further questions or discussion around this? All right, hearing none, since we've had, as you said, kind of 3 readings at this and a chance for everybody to digest it, I think we're ready. Mariah?
Regent Bradshaw.
Aye.
Regent Branscombe.
Aye.
Regent Burdine.
Aye.
Regent Davis.
Aye.
Regent DeWitt. Commissioner Hatcher.
Aye.
Regent Harriman.
Aye.
Regent Kastner.
Aye.
Regent Powers.
Aye.
Madam Chair Reynolds.
Aye.
Commissioner Reynolds.
Aye.
Regent Richardson.
Aye.
Regent Spurgeon.
Aye.
Regent Stevenson.
Aye.
And Regent White.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Brian. Everybody here is on so many organizations that we all know it's just good hygiene. In addition to having some statute changes, it's just smart to take a deeper dive. So thanks for your patience, and we are good to go for the foreseeable future. So that's terrific. Chancellor, we have a calendar proposed for next year.
We do, Madam Chair. The proposed quarterly board meeting dates for 2026 were included in the board materials prior to today's meeting. Wednesday, March 4th, will be our SOAR Awards and our board meeting Thursday and Friday, June 11 and 12 at Nashville State and their TCAT partners. Thursday and Friday, September 17th and 18th at the Bedford County Higher Education Center, that is TCAT Shelbyville. And Thursday, December 8th, back at the TBR system. So, Madam Chair, pending any questions regarding the calendar, I request approval of these dates.
Thoughts, questions, motion to approve? Thank you, sir. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Nisha. Any further discussion? All right. Secretary Perry.
Who provided the motion?
Tom White, sorry.
Thank you. Regent Bradshaw.
Aye.
Regent Branscombe.
Aye.
Regent Burdine.
Aye.
Regent Davis.
Aye.
Regent DeWitt. Commissioner Hatcher.
Aye.
Regent Harriman.
Aye.
Regent Kastner.
Aye.
Regent Powers.
Aye.
Madam Chair Reynolds.
Aye.
Commissioner Reynolds.
Aye.
Regent Richardson.
Aye.
Regent Spurgeon.
Aye.
Regent Stevenson.
Aye.
And Regent White.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And I know you're always great at doing this, but just so the board knows, these dates will be sent out to you very soon, so you can make sure to have them in on the calendar, right, going forward. So thank you. Thank you. Well, with that, you guys, we come, as I always say, to a more bittersweet time in our meeting. And before he arrived this morning, we were talking about just how proud we all are to be Tennesseans, and we are especially proud to have gotten to know one Tennessean with his service to TBR. So with that, Commissioner Hatcher, if you would stand by, we have a resolution to provide honoring you, and I will call on Miles Burdine to do the honors.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Whereas the Honorable Charlie Hatcher was appointed in 2019 to serve as the 38th Commissioner of Agriculture after serving 10 years as a state veterinarian for the Department of Agriculture, where he protected the health and welfare of animals and strengthened the marketability of Tennessee's animal products. And whereas Commissioner Hatcher earned a doctorate of veterinary medicine from the University of Tennessee at Knoxville and a Bachelor of Science in Animal Science from Middle Tennessee State University. And whereas he is a 10th generation American farmer and a 5th generation Tennessee farmer who has dedicated his life to the growth and vitality of Tennessee agriculture. Commissioner Hatcher founded Rock and Country Veterinary Services in College Grove, specializing in livestock, and later helped establish Hatcher Family Dairy, a family-run dairy that today provides milk products through Middle Tennessee, creating jobs, supporting the local economy, and serving as a model for farmer to consumer business success. And whereas, through his leadership, Commissioner Hatcher advanced Tennessee's farming industry, strengthened food safety and animal health programs, promoted Tennessee agricultural products in national and international markets, and supported policies and initiatives that safeguard the livelihood of farmers and rural communities across the state. And whereas, Commissioner Hatcher has served with great diligence and distinction as an ex officio member of the Tennessee Board of Regents, where he has been a strong advocate for technical education, workforce development, and educational opportunities that prepare Tennesseans for success in agriculture, veterinary medicine, and other high-demand industries. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Tennessee Board of Regents expresses its sincere appreciation to Commissioner Charlie Hatcher for his tremendous leadership, his enduring contributions to Tennessee agriculture and higher education, and his steadfast dedication to the citizens of Tennessee, who will continue to benefit from his legacy for generations to come. Madam Vice Chair, I'd like to make that a motion, resolution of appreciation that we approve.
Thank you, Regent Burdine. We have a motion. Do we have a second? Thank you very much, Regent DeWitt. Discussion. The floor is open as we commend this extraordinary service.
Charlie, you're going to be missed, man. You've got a unique character, many unique characters about you, and you're just such a gentleman, for number one. Number two, you've got a hidden sense of humor. And number three, you don't say a lot, but when you say it, everybody just wants to listen. And last thing, you got a great haircut too, so.
There we go.
Yeah, you will be missed. Appreciate all your service. And you may not be able to disclose what you're going to do next, but I hope it's still continue to serve the citizens of the great state of Tennessee. And if you do, I'll continue to follow you.
Chancellor?
Well, and I just want to thank you too, not only for being a great board member, for being a great partner in our educational progress. Commissioner Hatcher has been there with us at the table, helping build curriculum in ag programs. He has helped us advance not only what we're doing in our system, but as our ability to work with the Department of Ag. So we are very grateful for the time that you have given to us and devoted to all of that you've helped build. So thank you for that.
We will miss you. You have been a tremendous addition, not for us as a board, but just the service you have given to this great state. I'm just proud to know you. And you also make a mean chocolate milk. So it is delicious. But 5 generations of service on the land to Tennessee, what an extraordinary legacy for your family. So again, just thank you for the honor of your time. We are all very sad to see you go, but your roots run deep here, and we still know where to find you. Regent Powers?
Yes, I was going to say my favorite moment with you was seeing you under a tree at a table with your grandson. And so the legacy continues, and I love that because they're going to be rooted in what you've brought and given to the community. Thank you.
Charlie, I'll add too. Yesterday, I heard our governor, your boss, be so-called interviewed by Commissioner Rozelle, and it was fascinating. But one of the big takeaways I heard from Governor Lee yesterday was he used the word collaboration over and over and over again. And so I just heard the chancellor talk about how you collaborated to help with curriculum, et cetera, et cetera. So thank you for setting a positive example and for following the lead of our governor.
Your colleague, Commissioner Reynolds, apparently has her up out there on the cloud somewhere. So Commissioner Reynolds, we welcome your comments to your colleague.
Yes, I'm going to miss his retirement party, so I was like, this is a great opportunity. I just want to thank him for elevating to me early on in my tenure the importance of agriculture education and the value that our FFA kids and our 4-H kids bring to the table. He has taught me so much, and it has become a priority for me because of his advocacy and his commitment to kids and the future generations of our farmers here in our great state. So thank you so much, Commissioner Hatcher, for everything that you've done to make sure that I am accountable to the folks that you serve and continue to serve. And I will hold myself to that standard as long as I'm Commissioner of Education. So thank you so much for everything you've done and for also encouraging me, which is kind of ironic because for some reason, when I've been in person, he hasn't been in person, vice versa. One of the first things he told me was, we need your voice on the Tennessee Board of Regents. Please participate. These are good people. It's an excellent organization, and they need you to be active. So thank you for that as well.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anyone else? Well, Commissioner Hatcher, as you gather your thoughts, the floor will be yours momentarily, but may we make this official?
Regent Bradshaw.
Absolutely aye.
Regent Branscombe.
Aye.
Regent Burdine.
Aye.
Regent Davis.
Aye.
Regent DeWitt.
Aye.
Regent Harriman.
Aye.
Regent Kastner.
Aye.
Regent Powers.
Aye.
Madam Chair Reynolds.
Aye.
Commissioner Reynolds.
Aye.
Regent Richardson.
Aye.
Regent Spurgeon.
Aye.
Regent Stevenson.
Aye.
And Regent White.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Commissioner Hatcher, thank you. The floor is yours.
I sound pretty good when y'all put it that way. Yeah, Miles, I really appreciate those comments. Where's the fellow that said he was the luckiest guy in Tennessee? Where is he? I'll take exception to that. I think it's Charlie. I'm the fortunate one. You know that song back in the late 60s, 70s? Who did it? Yeah. So so I'm the fortunate one. But I do have a few comments. You know, it's been the honor of my life to serve as Commissioner of Agriculture, and a big part of that has been serving on this board. And you know, Governor Lee has a strong passion for skilled trades, and that was evidenced by what's happened under the Lee administration. And the great support by the General Assembly, and really, frankly, all partners once the ball got rolling. And that's put Tennessee in a position to lead the country in pathways and opportunities for all people, for community and technical colleges, education and training, the whole ball of wax. And we heard some of that this morning. I mean, it's such a wonderful story that we all would be proud of. And you talk about the collaboration. You know, Tennessee's known as a volunteer state, and it's proven out that way, the level of collaboration. It hasn't always been that way. You know, I wasn't part of previous administrations, but at times the commissioners didn't always get along. Christy knows this, and so the level of collaboration amongst Governor Lee's cabinet has been extraordinary, and that's his transition. Well, not transition, but that's opened up for all stakeholders. At least in ag and forestry world, it's been phenomenal, and I think it's transcended all the politics. The relationships and friendships that I've developed being on this board are a lifetime type friendships, and I value that. And I will take exception to I don't think this board has not been stressful to me at all. It's the least stressful part of being a commissioner. So, but I do thank everybody for the kind words, and I'll miss serving, and I'll stop there so I don't cry. Is this being recorded so I can show my family? They're not going to they have never given me much respect. They still make me do all kinds of things. And before we got milking robots, I had to milk the cows when nobody showed up. So this is good.
Not only is it being recorded, it has to be archived so you can show it repeatedly to your fine family. Thank you very much. What an extraordinary time for us. And We are grateful to a governor who picks great leaders and shares them with us. So thank you very, very much, Charlie. Thank you. So here we go. We have a resolution of appreciation for the service now of Regent Danny B. Varlin. Whereas Regent Danny B. Varlin was appointed on September 29, 2010, by Governor Phil Bredesen to serve on the Tennessee Board of Regents to represent the 2nd Congressional District. She was subsequently reappointed in 2013 by Governor Bill Haslam and in 2019 by Governor Bill Lee, and has served with unparalleled distinction, unwavering honor, and steadfast integrity. Whereas Regent Varlin holds a Bachelor of Arts in English from Georgia State University, once again, these Georgians, and whereas she served a rewarding career and retired from her final and favorite job as the grant writer, major gifts and estate planning officer at East Tennessee Children's Hospital in Knoxville. And whereas she is a passionate servant of her community, lending her guidance and leadership to the board of directors of the Panhellenic National Scholarship Foundation, Relationship Builders, and through her devoted involvement with her beloved St. George Greek Orthodox Church. And whereas during Regent Varlin's tenure on the board, she served as chair of the Presidential Search Advisory Committees for Roane State Community College, Walters State Community College, Cleveland State Community College, TCAT Knoxville, TCAT Athens, and TCAT Harriman, and as a member of the search committee for the TBR Chancellor and several other presidential positions. And whereas her service has included countless hours of mentorship, support, and counsel to the system, its institutions, faculty, and students, she has inspired generations of students and colleagues alike, participating with warmth and grace in innumerable commencement ceremonies, convocations, groundbreakings, building dedications, and celebratory events. And whereas Regent Varlin has made a lasting contribution to the governance of the system by serving as chair of the External Affairs Committee since 2018, and prior to that as chair of what was called the chair of the Economic and Community Development Committee, now Workforce Development. And whereas as the chair of External Affairs Committee, Regent Varlin has honorably given her talents and her expertise in her service on the board of the foundation of the College System of Tennessee, fostering sponsorships and partnerships that have greatly advanced the system's mission and financial aid for students. And whereas Regent Varlin embodies integrity, wisdom, and a genuine care for the welfare of the Tennessee Board of Regents system, students, and higher education in Tennessee. Her warmth, charisma, and dedication have left a lasting mark on all who have had the privilege of working with her. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Tennessee Board of Regents expresses its sincere appreciation to Regent Danny B. Varlin for her years of service rendered and leadership afforded to the Tennessee Board of Regents system. And I, too, would like to offer this as a motion for the board's consideration. May we have a second? Thank you all. A unanimous second, no doubt. That's right. Thank you very much. Oh, so we have a surprise guest. I hope you weren't watching this morning because I did spill the beans in Regent Griscom. So we do want to hear from him. I know we came in as the Three Musketeers in 2010. But before we move to him, I'd love to open this up to the board for comments. And I see both Regent Burdine and Risha Powers poised.
Ladies first.
Okay. I just want to thank you for modeling what I was supposed to do when I first came on the board. It was a little intimidating to be at this table, I'll just say. And a lot came at me, but watching you and just the grace that you presented as a woman and as a leader just showed me how I needed to act and behave and make decisions and comment or whatever I did. So thank you for that modeling. I just am going to miss you terribly, but hope that you're going to be around at events and we'll still see you and get to hug you.
Danny, as Mayor Bradshaw is going to learn, those plane rides give us a unique opportunities to get to know each other a little bit better. And even though I didn't get to do much talking, I got to do a lot of listening, but it was such a pleasure to get to know you, and so enjoyed hearing about you and your family, and Tom and your beautiful granddaughter, and finally get a chance to meet her. What's her name again? Nina, yes. And hear about all the grandchildren and the kids, and it was just a wonderful experience, and you will be missed. And I guess I'll close by saying as I got to know you over the years, you have a great heart, and you care, and about so many things, not just this board, not just this mission, but the people that you're around, your job. I mean, you raise so much money for a wonderful organization. I'm just proud to know you, and thank you for caring so much.
Regent White?
Yeah. So I grew up not too far from here and went to high school just up the road at dear old Bearden High School. And I had this wonderful community of Greek friends that were there, my little Greek mafia. There were the Vavilitis brothers, Johnny Katsianis, and Gigi Varlin. And Gigi had this older brother, Tom, who I was always very impressed with. He was a much, much better trumpet player than I was. And just to show you what a good judge of character I was at that time, the Honorable Tom Varlin goes on to be a federal court judge here in Knoxville, but more importantly, he married Danny. So I say all that because as I was thinking of a couple of words to describe Danny, I thought English words wouldn't really suffice. And so I went to Greek words. And I'll butcher the pronunciation of these, but the first one I came up with was cardia, which is heart, as Miles said. And there's nothing more beautiful than when you're sitting here and someone's presenting and someone's telling their story, and you look over and Danny's just beaming. And it was just the most heartwarming thing. The other word I came up with is pathos, and it came up a couple times yesterday, passion. And I think, in the resolution, Danny, you led the league in the number of groundbreaking ceremonies, ribbon-cutting ceremonies, and I doubt that there's a college president in this part of the state that Danny didn't have something to do with bringing them on board, so I appreciate that. So I'll miss you for a lot of reasons. Certainly one is when we do the roll call, you're always right before me. And so now I got to get used to Barry Stevenson being right before me so I can wake up and hit the button there. But as Nisha said, thank you so much for all you've done and for the example that you've given all of us on what service to this board should be like. Thank you.
Said, beautifully said.
So,
Regent Spurgeon,
Regent
thank
White, I hate to, it's hard to follow that. I have no Greek words. But I did share some words with Danny yesterday. And, as you go through life, you meet a lot of people. And I kind of have a group I compartmentalize over here as people I've met, but gosh, I wish I had gotten to know them better. And so today, hearing from all these folks up here that know you much better than I do, it's just very obvious you leave a great legacy to this board. And I think it's up to all of us to continue serving in the way that you have. And Nina, I will tell you, you hit the grandmother jackpot, obviously. So well done. I know you just showed up and didn't have a choice in that, but you hit the jackpot.
Well said. That was fun. Chancellor? Oh, I'm so sorry, Regent Stevenson.
Danny, when I was asked if I'd accept the appointment as a regent, my first thought was I know one region pretty well and have a lot of respect for her. So I wonder if I can measure up and do as good a job. And I still wonder that because I hold you in high esteem. One way I'll say that I've never heard a speech that you made honoring someone for something. And I don't know how many words you have for doing that, but I do know that they feel good and honored by the time you finish. You're an excellent speaker. You carry forth the true meaning of service to this board, and I admire that. I'm going to miss having you on as a regent.
Beautifully said. Thank you. Chancellor?
And I am going to get through this without, Danny and Tom, both of them sitting there, are the reason I'm in Tennessee. Tom chaired the committee that hired me. Danny sat on that committee, and I will remember vividly after they had interviewed me, Danny came up and said, "We're both Georgia girls," and so we had a connection from the very moment that we met. She also did sit on the chancellor's committee that hired me for this position, so I have been eternally grateful to them. But more than that, you've been my friend for a long time. So we've shared a lot of moments, a lot of great times, and it's not going to end because she's agreed to be the vice chair for the foundation. So we're really excited to have her join that team in a different role. She served with the foundation. She really helped us create the foundation into what it is today. And so now she's agreed to serve as our vice chair. So we are deeply, deeply grateful. And I do have one Greek word for you today, and that is agape.
That's beautiful. Regent Gentile.
I was talking to Dr. Deaton earlier today. This part of the agenda is probably going to take a long time because we all have so many glowing things to say. And 2 years ago, yesterday, was my first day on the gig in the interim basis, and I was fortunate that one of my first official events was to come to a TBR board meeting, and I immediately met you and the warmth and grace. And from that moment forward, being new to the job, there's a lot of groundbreakings to go to, building openings, events, and I can be a naturally anxious person, nervous at times, especially in a new position. But however, as Regent White said, you're at a lot of those. Whenever I saw you, I was put at ease and felt at home due to your warmth and your grace. I'm going to miss you being on this board. I'm excited to hear about the vice chair role, and I'm just looking forward to our paths crossing in the future and feeling at home when they do. So thank you.
Tom Griscom, are you ready to take to the podium and talk to us this morning? 9 years of service. How many years now? That's 6 on the Charter School Commission.
Yep.
More public service to this great state.
Thank you. Can I, on a personal privilege, before I say the words I want to about Danny? For me, this is the second time back at TBR since I served here. And it's sort of like a homecoming. Chancellor, it's great to see you. Glad you're still doing the things that you're doing. As I listened to the changes to the bylaws, that was like a history lesson for me because we lived through all those changes. I'm sort of surprised you waited this long to fix them, but glad I was here.
With you gone, we're just a little slower. I don't know.
But also, Brian, when I'm done, I will stay on this side of the podium. I'm not going to go back over on that side. Don't worry. But for all of y'all who are here on this board, I had a great opportunity for 9 years. And then the governor gave me an opportunity to go on the Charter School Commission. And I have to tell you what, being able to extend what I learned from TBR into the public school sector and to be able to help set that up, please stay focused. I'm glad you're keeping Danny involved, but all of y'all look at other opportunities, how you take this experience and the things you bring and extend them on out. Because there are so many other opportunities to make a difference in a child's life in this state. And I really appreciate the fact that Governor Lee found that opportunity for me to do that for the past 6 years. So just wanted to say that. And now I've got a few words to share. So Danny, what an extraordinary milestone. 15 years of service on the Board of Regents is a testament of your commitment to shaping academic excellence and support for students, faculty, and staff. And you had to put up with me for 9 years of it, so thank you. We did. Over the years, you consistently demonstrated an unwavering belief in the power of education to transform lives. 15 years. Think about that period of time, the landscape of higher education in Tennessee. 3 governors, 3 chancellors, a number of new presidents in our institutions, and we served on many of those. Some of them are still here from the time I was here. And a new academic model that has brought sharper focus on career at our community colleges and our colleges of applied technology. It's been a cornerstone of progress, of innovation, and encouragement for student success. A true measure of your impact lies in the stories of lives changed, programs improved, and communities strengthened. You have been a model of integrity and excellence. As your friend and former colleague, I've seen you make this board a place where people are heard, valued, and inspired. President Reagan said this, and I think it applies to you and what you've done. The greatest leader is not necessarily the one who does the greatest things. She is the one who gets people to do the greatest things. So Danny, thank you for the opportunity to have worked together for those 9 years of your 15 years. I gained a lifetime friend and the knowledge that all of us are richer from your presence and your service. Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here with you today.
Regent Varlin, as we make this official, gather your thoughts. We invite you to the podium. Secretary Perry, please call the roll.
Regent Bradshaw.
Aye.
Regent Branscombe.
Aye.
Regent Burdine. Regent Davis.
Aye.
Regent DeWitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Hatcher.
Aye.
Regent Harriman.
Aye.
Regent Kastner.
Aye.
Regent Powers.
Aye.
Madam Chair Reynolds.
Aye.
Commissioner Reynolds.
Aye.
Regent Richardson.
Aye.
Regent Spurgeon.
Aye.
Regent Stevenson.
Aye.
And Regent White.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you very much. What beautiful words everyone said. Danny, this is your turn. And all I have to say is you and Tom Varlin and your family represent the best of everything about our great state and the best about this
Even though I'm
country.
from Georgia, right?
That's right. We'll make it, there's a little asterisk in there.
Well, after almost 40 years, I'm pretty much a Tennessee.
That's right.
So
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear friend.
Before I start my remarks, I first want to say congratulations to the new regents, Christy Branscombe and Matt Harriman. But I also want to say to Christy, congratulations. She was quoted on the front paper of the New Sentinel yesterday for her and her partners and associates company, their work in downtown Knoxville. As you probably all know, we have an incredible new baseball stadium, thanks to Randy Boyd, which has changed everything about that area. And her company is right adjacent to it, building a 9-story condominium building, which is a historic place, is being recognized as just changing the complete neighborhood. So for those of you that really don't know Christy yet and know what she does and how she, along with all of the other commitments she has made throughout the state of Tennessee for many years, she is also changing neighborhoods in a part of Knoxville that is badly needed for a very long time. So thank you so much for that, Christy. And y'all see the front page paper. So, dear friends, it's been, I hate to have my back to y'all, so just please forgive me. I want to see if I can do this. It has been a great honor and privilege to be a member of the Tennessee Board of Regents. 15 years ago, I couldn't figure out why in the world God had put me in this place and what the heck he wanted me to do. I was appointed along with Tom Griscom and Emily Reynolds, as you have heard, both incredible humans who had already made history serving our nation. Tom with Senator Howard Baker and with President Reagan and many other, his newspaper career, all of that. And of course, Emily serving as the Secretary of the United States Senate for 4 years after serving as Senator Bill Frist's Chief of Staff and working for Senator Howard Baker. That's a common thread here. How would you like to be in a group of that? I mean, I was scared. But as you get older, you discover God sometimes reveals the reason why things happen and why in the heck I was here. And I realized that my college experience, my personal college experience, prepared me for this, along with the fact that I had 4 children,
one already in college, the other three getting ready to go to college. So I could personally relate to the challenges and the students, what they were facing on many levels. And that gave me my why, which I needed. The years have given me opportunities and time to get to know our presidents, faculty and staff members, donors of every kind, legislatures, community members, leaders, partners, and best of all, our students. The students are the center of our world at TBR, and getting to know them and hear their stories remind us why and keep us focused on that. The friendships I have made are beyond anything I could have imagined. Spending time with people that make up TBR has continuously shown me why it is the best college system in the country. They are dedicated to their work, motivated to seek excellence, and devoted to the students from Memphis to Elizabethton. TBR is positioned to provide access and prepare our students for a better future. Today is a moment I want to thank you for the opportunity to learn and be a part of significant changes for the Tennessee Board of Regents and its students during my time as a regent. So if you'll indulge me for just a minute. During my time in 2010, starting then, Governor Phil Bredesen signed into law the Complete College Act of Tennessee, reforming post-secondary education by shifting the funding formula from an enrollment-based system, in other words, how many people were sitting in their seats on September the 14th, to an outcomes-based funding education system. The Act established accountability for higher education institutions to raise statewide educational attainment levels and to improve economic competitiveness by focusing on student success and efficient degree production. The Act completely changed the funding formula. Now funding is spread across the system and allows enormous improvement in changes, not just to the big universities. In 2013, TBR approved the name changes of Tennessee Technology Centers, and they became Tennessee Colleges of Applied Technology to better reflect the nature of the career and technical programs offered, and to also recognize that being a college graduate could happen on many levels in higher education. In 2014, the Tennessee Promise program became available to all high school graduates across the state and opened free college for community colleges and TCATs. And then TBR institutions, the colleges, the technical colleges, had enhanced that program by providing students access to funds for equipment, transportation, childcare, and food. July 1st, 2016, Governor Bill Haslam's Focus Act took effect and significantly changed the governance structure of higher education in Tennessee. It allowed 6 universities to transfer from the TBR system to their own independent boards. That was a big lift. More importantly, it allowed the Board of Regents to focus on the work of the 13 community colleges and at that time, 27 TCATs. In 2019, the Foundation for the College System of Tennessee was established to raise funds and to support students and campuses through scholarships, operational support, and other initiatives. It serves as a key fundraising body for the state's community and technical colleges and provides support to the colleges and their individual foundations. The foundation's success is due to the work of the infatigable, where is he? Chris Perkins. Each year, under the direction of Vice Chancellor Kim McCormick, who couldn't be here today, TBR staff prepares a comprehensive agenda that highlights legislation for the Tennessee General Assembly to consider offering affecting higher education, the TBR system and its member institutions. These legislative acts have and will continue to play an excellent part in the growth of TBR system, including the most recent example of Governor Bill Lee's budget of $1.5 billion for replacing and repairing the TCAT campuses across our state. I want to remind you of some of these highlights over the past 15 years to illustrate why It is truly an honor and a privilege to be part of the history of higher education in the state of Tennessee. You will all continue this great work, and as you stay focused on the future, occasionally pat yourselves on the back for all you have already accomplished. If asked the greatest thing that has happened during my tenure, I could easily answer the appointment of Dr. Flora Tidings as the Chancellor of the Tennessee Board of Regents. Don't look at me. She has recognized the challenges and the opportunities for the system, and she has found solutions and executed them. She's executed them. That's the important part. She has done this with grace and charm that is hers alone. I have learned so much from her and her sidekick, Vice Chair Emily Reynolds. They are a gift that I will always treasure, along with the regents that have participated in the transformation of higher education in our state. Finally, over the years, I've attempted to let each one of you know how much you mean to me and applauded the work that you do. Honestly, words are not enough to describe the joy you have brought to my life and the pride associated with my tenure at TBR. Please accept my sincere thanks. I've had the time of my life. Thank you.
Thank you. That was beautiful, as we knew it would be. And you used one word that encapsulates you to a T. Joy. That's what you bring to everyone. And we are better for having known you. And I'm so proud to have had 15 years with you and 9 with Tom on this board. And again, hopefully we've made a difference in the time here, and everyone here has certainly made a difference in our lives. So we are very grateful. You're amazing. Thank you. Well, anybody notice how the stories theme resonates through everything today? We are storytellers here in Tennessee, and we have told some good ones today, and we will continue to do so. Now, I'm going to ask everyone, do not move until this gavel goes down. We had a little issue yesterday, so no, absolutely not. That's no, they were good. They were very obedient. I know. Oh, that's hilarious. Let us just do a couple of more mundane but important housekeeping items before we close. The first is Regent Gentile. Do you want to mention your convening next month?
Yes, thank you so much. Next month, you've all received the invitations for it, and I know we have a robust response here. We are going to be unveiling our strategic plan, and it's still in the draft version at that stage because we want to hear from you all directly. We will at that meeting. It's going to be a fun day and a half of events. We will be hearing from the speakers. We're also going to be having a recording of You Might Be Right out of UT Knoxville. I'm really excited for that with Governors Bredesen and Haslam. It's going to be a fun-filled day, and love to see you guys there. If you haven't signed up yet, I'd love to see you do so. And of course, Chancellor Tidings will be on the panel, and Vice Chair Reynolds will be introducing the You Might Be Right podcast as well. So it's going to be a good 2 days. Thank you.
Thank you for including us. I shouldn't say this on behalf of both of us, but we'll do our best not to cry at your meeting. We only cry at our meetings. So thank you. If you have not made arrangements and can still join us for this important session, it really is something to look forward to. Thank you, Dr. Gentile, for your leadership. Chancellor, any closing remarks?
Just again to say thank you to Chris Whaley, Kelly Cheney, and Chris Ayers. We truly appreciate you, your staff, your teams, and the great job that you did in entertaining us over the last 2 days. I promise you're about to see our taillights, and you can have a great weekend. Thank you very much.
Oh, and also, in addition to saying thanks again for just an extraordinary couple of days together, I think you win the prize for the heaviest swag bag ever. So that's quite a mark. And then Chris Ayers presented us each with these beautiful challenge coins, which I know Regent Burdine knows a lot about with his military background. So this will be near and dear to our heart as well, since it was made by our students at the TCAT Harriman. That was lovely. President Whaley, President Cheney, with our profound thanks, and we know it takes a team, and lots of blue shirts and red coats and all kinds of impressive and welcoming folks here. Thank you so much. Anything we need to know?
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Chancellor, members of the board, it has absolutely been our honor to host you. Thank you so much for indulging us. We've put forth a lot of information, a lot of traveling, a lot of tours, but we've appreciated your time and your attention. And I think with all the thanks this bears saying as well, I know I speak for all of my colleagues to thank all of you as our board. We're only able to do what we do for students and for communities because you authorize us, because you empower us, because you advocate for us. So thank you all very much for your service and for the passionate way that you lead us. We're very grateful, very, very blessed. So as we leave, let me add my thanks to TCAT Knoxville, to TCAT Harriman, the wonderful lunch that was supplied yesterday by TCAT Knoxville. Today's lunch is supplied by TCAT Harriman. As you exit, some of you I know need to get right on the road, so if you exit and go left and grab a lunch on your way out to your car or to the shuttle, whatever the situation may be, we welcome you to do that. Some of you may want to eat before you get on the road, so if you go out and turn right, you'll find lunches and tables for you to be able to enjoy your lunch before you get on the road. Again, for any of you who did not get to tour yesterday and would like even an abbreviated tour, we have folks standing ready to do that for this facility. Gift bags are also available for everyone in the room as you exit. I am told that presidents, my colleagues, need to go straight, and there's some special bags. I'm not really sure what that means. I don't know if there's a bobblehead of me in there or a dartboard with my face on it. I don't know what's, but so there's swag bags for everybody, but presidents, you go straight, and there's some special ones there for you. I'll be interested to find out what that means too. So with our profound thanks again for being able to host you, we wish you well, and we're very, very grateful for you, Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, right back at you. Once again, to Regent Varland, Regent Hatcher, our very best wishes, and we look forward to staying in touch. And most of all, to everyone, thank you. Safe travels to all. And with that, until the 9th of December, is it? Yes, Tuesday, December 9th, when we see you in Nashville, we are adjourned, my friends. Thank you. Good job.